the final live show of 2025, and I promise you this right now, it's going to be one that you're not going to want to miss. My name is Mitchell Renz. Y'all are watching the Raiders Report. I got my dude Jeremy Chugs over here when we're ready to get 2026 started with a bang. I don't know about y'all. I'm ready for 2025 to frickin' be over for all Raider fans out there. I can't wait for the year of 2026. I think it's going to be the biggest, the craziest, most insane offseason of all time. And if you feel like, man, I feel like we say that every single year. I just saw Me Too down below from Naheem. Spam Me Too down below. So coming up here on today's show, you want to talk a little bit about some head coaching rumors? I don't know about y'all. I've been hearing a lot from one person, and I've mentioned this name before. Over the past 24 hours, there has been another name that is starting to circulate in terms of circles for the Silver and Black. I'm going to tell you who those two head coach candidates are when the Silver and Black do decide to move on from Pete Carroll. I don't know when it's going to happen, but when Pete Carroll gets fired, y'all already know. I'm going to be live 11 hours, 11 minutes. It's my wish out there. You know what also is going on right now? We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson today, and I want to be very clear. I'm not sitting up here reporting anything. I'm not sitting up here talking about anything besides top trending topics. But if you haven't seen that there's a lot of shit going on right now with Baltimore and Lamar, let's face it, the Raiders, we got a quarterback question to be able to have. And my job here as the Raiders Report host, and I don't even like to say my job, something that I love to do. If people are talking about it out there, we're going to talk about it here on the show. So here's my question, because we're going to talk about this a lot today. Would you trade the number 1 overall pick for Lamar Jackson? We got the number 1 pick. Would you trade it straight up for Lamar Jackson? And I know that seems like a little bit of a crazy question, but you can answer yes, you can answer no. It's just a question. It shouldn't offend you, right? We're friends here. Let's talk about it. Because I talked to our Ravens host today, and I said, what do you think Lamar would go for in a trade? He told me a minimum of 2, but probably 3 first-round picks. So if you weren't maybe sold on Fernando Mendoza, maybe you weren't sold on a Dante Moore, could you go out and trade for a 28-year-old Lamar Jackson? I'm seeing some yeses from Slurricane, Dion Berry. I see a hell no from Frankie. Javier Gomez says no. Jack's going to go with a no. Simone Garcia says no. It's a little bit of a mixed bag in there. And I ask this question because for the Raiders, we're in the offseason where we're going to be looking for a new head coach. We're going to be looking for a new quarterback. Look at that live poll up there. It's very split right now. What's more important, finding a head coach or finding a franchise quarterback? I see 53% of the votes are for head coach, 47% for going out there and finding a quarterback. And I get it. Lamar Jackson costs a lot of money. If you don't know how much money he costs, we're going to talk about it a little bit here on today's show. What do you think, man? I mean, it's an interesting question. Y'all know I love Mendoza. Y'all know I'm team draft a QB. But you have to entertain this idea.
I would say this. With our Ravens host, he said multiple first-round picks, but that's without it being the number 1 pick in the draft.
Correct.
If it was just straight up the Ravens said Lamar for the number 1 pick,
you have to think about it.
I would say yes. I would say yes because and you know me, my wife went to Indiana. I'm a huge Fernando Mendoza guy. But he's still a question mark.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get with Lamar Jackson. Maybe it's not what Raider fans envision of like a franchise quarterback, but a 2-time MVP. You're telling me you can get a 2-time MVP that is still in his prime?
28 years old.
Like,
a lot of money.
I say yes. Like, good, bad, or the other. How many of y'all have had fun watching Raider games, legitimately watching this team in the past 2 years? Nobody.
I mean, last week was fun.
And Lamar Jackson at 28 years old, if he comes to the Raiders, do you know how much fun this team will be able to watch week in and week out? You know how much better this team gets instantly by adding Lamar Jackson? I think you go from a 2 to 3 win team immediately, no changes, to an 8-win team. I think he's worth 6 wins.
Oh, I mean, I think you are an instant playoff contender. The question there is, it's like, can Lamar Jackson win the big games in the playoffs? I think that's more than understandable of a question mark. But we always talk about head coaches sometimes getting that fresh start. Look at a guy like Andy Reid. Can't deny that Andy Reid's not an incredible head coach. As much as we hate to admit it, he is. Sometimes, though, when you get that fresh head start elsewhere, you get that extra little bit of motivation because people think that you're wrong. People are doubting you. Look at Tom Brady. Ended up winning another Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. I wonder if that could happen with Lamar Jackson, where people question him a little bit. There's no doubt he's a great talent. I saw a quote from the Baltimore Sun, I believe, that compared Lamar Jackson to Luka Doncic, saying, no doubt these two players are unbelievably talented. Luka ends up getting traded. There were some rumors about him being fat, being out of shape, ended up losing a little bit of weight. I know he's not doing maybe as well as what you're hoping for Lakers fans out there, but I do wonder if Lamar ended up getting dealt, would that motivate him to be the best version of himself? I don't know it. You don't know it, but it's why I love the Raiders Report, and it's why we're going to talk about it here on today's show.
I don't know. I think you'd be crazy to say, you know what, I don't want Lamar Jackson.
I agree. I will say this is up for debate, just like the whole conversation around Lamar Jackson is absolutely up for debate. But you can't, to me, you can't look me dead in the eyes and say, I don't want Lamar Jackson. I think you're crazy, right? There's a lot of options you got to weigh. There's a lot of plans that you can put in place. And one of the things that I'll end up doing this offseason, because to me right now, if you were to ask me who are the top 3 quarterbacks most likely to be the Raiders quarterback next season, I think it's Fernando Mendoza, I think it's Lamar Jackson, and I think it's Malik Willis. Those, to me, are your top 3 options based on the people that I talk to, based on what I just think is going to happen for the Silver and Black.
And I put out, now, I did this on my Texans channel, but I think this rings true for what we're talking about right here. I put together a list of the top quarterbacks, and, you might even be, for the Raiders as well. I know number 1 pick changes a lot of things for this team. But for other teams, these were the options at quarterback. This is what I said for the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Yep.
These are the top 8 options for them at quarterback. Lamar Jackson being one of them. Kyler Murray as well. Kyler Murray with the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins. He's playing so good. Our Falcons host, Moose, said, do we keep him around next year? Tua Tagovailoa got benched. Obviously, you got Pooh Cheese in the bottom left. Malik Willis, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones coming back from that injury.
I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. You look at all those quarterbacks and which guy doesn't belong on that list, it's Lamar Jackson. He is clearly the best QB. And again, if you're the Raiders, that's what's great about having that number 1 overall pick. We've already solidified a top 2 pick in the NFL draft. So, if Dante Moore don't come out, and he doesn't come out, and we're sitting there at number 2, and we don't know if we're going to be able to get to number 1, what you can't do, because you're going to move off from Geno Smith in the offseason, you can't afford to not have a Mendoza. If you're the Raiders and you go, we can't get Mendoza, I'll say it right now. If the Raiders look at me and they go, we're not going to be able to get Mendoza because we're picking number 2, you better flip and go out and go get Lamar Jackson. I don't give a shit how much it costs.
See, and Eric, I disagree wholeheartedly.
What?
He says Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray aren't really that far apart.
That's insane.
That's like saying the sun and the earth aren't that far. I feel like you're talking about a 2-time MVP.
Kyler Murray, do you think Kyler Murray's a top 16 quarterback in the NFL? Maybe.
Lamar Jackson
is top 5 NFL player.
He's been injured this year, but we go back to
41 touchdowns last season.
2024, 2023, he was up there. And, you're going to blame him for not making the Super Bowl, not winning the big games. How many of y'all say that about Josh Allen? Has he made a Super Bowl? He has not.
Yeah, and, we'll kind of wrap up because we're going to talk a lot about Lamar today, and it's why I was excited to be able to do it. But, let's say you're sitting there at number 1. You trade back, and you get 3 first-round picks, right? You can use some of those to be able to go out and get Lamar. We also have the salary cap space to do it. I just want y'all to think about it. Today's deal, all we're doing today, it is the final day of the new league year. No, I'm just kidding. Final day of 2025. So today, we're going to be giving away, it's also Tuesday, by the way. We're going to be giving away a Maxx Crosby signed helmet. And all the deals are today are this. for you to have an opportunity to go home with a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. The cool part is, though, if you send in a Venmo, if you send in a Cash App, I'm going to double those tickets. So you can do the math right there. You send in a $20 Venmo, bingo, bango. I'm going to give you 20 tickets there. 50, I'm going to give you 50 tickets. 100, I'm going to give you 200 tickets. I actually can make the argument the best deal on today's show is a $20 Venmo, because I'll be real with you, I'm not going to check whether or not you want to get in the duck race or not. I'm just going to put you in the duck race, and you're going to be entered in for a chance to win a a Maxx Crosby signed helmet. Those are the deals today. And just so all y'all know, since it is the final day of December that I will be live, I will not be live tomorrow. Whoever ends up being our December Bang MVP, which right now as it stands, Ben Thrax got 23, Weldinator's got 17, TJ Parkinson 16, Raider Ron 14, Jerry Danley at 13.
I do feel bad for Weldinator because I know he is out of the maybe he's still watching. I don't know the time difference.
I have no idea. I mean, I feel like that guy's always up.
I feel like the time difference, it's got to be like.
So it's not as cool as the signed Maxx Crosby helmet. But whoever the Bang MVP is, we're going to send you a little Raiders Report swag, and I'm just going to give you a little extra on the top, a signed Mitchell Renz helmet, if it means anything to you. This means a lot to me. Arbor Bang! And in the last live show of 2025, with the Bang, Lamar Jackson is a game changer despite the drama and injuries, and he's in the Mount Rushmore of current quarterbacks.
I agree, because when you think of the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, the top 4, now Drake May, he's one season, he's looked really good. I'm not ready to put him in that top 4. For the past 4 years, I think consensus around the NFL media landscape, people who cover the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
ACL.
Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson.
Joe Burrow's always hurt.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I mean, those 4 have been the guys for the past 5 years.
And I also think, again, we follow a lot of different sports here, a lot of different NFL teams at Chat Sports. Based off a lot of the things that our Ravens guy talks about, it is a really bad thing going on right now in Baltimore with Lamar, with Harbaugh. And I asked him today, I go, who would you take, John Harbaugh or Lamar Jackson? And he goes, if the Ravens don't keep Lamar Jackson, it's the worst move that the franchise has ever made. So, I know that you might have a thing or you might hear something about Lamar, but a 28-year-old quarterback in his prime with a run-first Raiders team that you can build an offensive line around, not saying it's what I would do. You got to entertain the idea. Arbora, shout out to you, man. Hopefully you have a great 2026. Hopefully we all have a great 2026. Friendly reminder out there, if you get a question in like Real Cowboy, your $5 super chat, it is... It's one raffle ticket, plus we're going to get the question up there. Arbra, you just got 200 raffle tickets for a chance to win a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. We gave away a Crosby signed football on Thursday, maybe last Tuesday. It's one of the days this week. So today, we're going to give away a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. Let's go to, the Real Cowboy. Also, Venmo, Cash App, it's all down there. Jackson tends to be injury prone. Pass on trading number 1 for him. And, maybe you don't want to trade number 1 for him. Maybe you want to entertain the idea of trading some other picks for him overall. You could do it, but I don't want to say that he is injury prone. When you deal with injuries, would you say Maxx Crosby's injury prone? Because over the past 3 seasons, Maxx Crosby has been way more injury prone than Lamar Jackson. And I just think it's something yeah, he's on the injury report. I think that sometimes there's a little bit of recency bias, but I also know that Lamar is sitting there in a current situation looking at his contract, and I just don't think he's happy in Baltimore.
I will say, out of all the quarterbacks that I discussed, I think Lamar actually has had the least to work with in terms of receiving targets around him. When you think about it.
See, I like Joe Burrow a lot.
Joe Burrow has had Jamar Chase.
Sure.
If you're thinking of the best targets.
I think you got to say Bills if we're talking targets.
But in his top years, he had Stephon Diggs, who is a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Stephon Diggs would be the best wide receiver that Lamar Jackson's played with.
So I saw somebody say Lamar's missed a bunch of games. Lamar Jackson has missed 4 games this season, missed no games last season, missed 1 game in 2023.
I mean, that's a ton. He missed 1 game? No way.
I don't think that he's missed a lot of games, and I don't think that he's injury prone, quite frankly. Let's go to Dion Barry. Dion, shout out to you, man, for supporting the show. Greatly appreciate you pulling up here on the Raiders Report. Rebel, Nota Jackson, it's like a BMW fun, but with issues. You know what? I think you're not giving him enough credit. I think he's a Ferrari. I think calling Lamar Jackson a BMW is not. He is a Ferrari.
I'm not,
Also, Rebel, congratulations winning the Raiders Report Fantasy Football League, taking down Nav. I got something coming your way. If you could send me your shipping address.
Me and Mitch aren't, neglecting the fact that him being a running quarterback does put it more at risk, and it does make it a little bit more risky when you have a guy that runs as much as Lamar Jackson does. But he, just saying that he's injury prone because he runs, that's not true, right? Like he has a higher chance to get injured.
Sure. I mean, do you think our offense, though, is more built to throw the football or run the football right now, based on what we have?
Read option with Ginty would be disgusting.
With the 2 tight end set with Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers? Like, I'm going to show you all today what I think a Raiders offense could look like with Lamar. And if you don't feel a little tingle down there, you might want to call a doctor. Let's go to Jeff. What's up, Jeff? What is wrong with our fans? Have never had a quarterback like Lamar. Bowers, Genty, Lamar build the defense, and that's an 11-14 win team.
I agree.
Jeff, I'm with you, dude. Like, to me, of course, nothing is guaranteed. We're Raiders fans, right? Like, nothing is guaranteed. But if Lamar Jackson plays 16-plus games, I guarantee you December football will mean something for the silver and black. And on top of that, like you said, that run option, you're going to have teams trying to figure out ways to defend Brock, Genty, Lamar Jackson. Good luck with it. Good luck with it. Aaron Vasquez, what's up, man? They're going to want 98 for him. Not worth it. He's injury prone now. Always chokes when the pressure is on. Might as well throw away another season. I want to be very clear. I would trade Maxx Crosby in a heartbeat if it meant I got Lamar Jackson. And it's not because I don't love Mad Max. But if we're going to say injury prone, Max has been just as injury prone, if not more than Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson plays the most important position in the NFL, and that's the quarterback. Now, I actually think if the trade had to go down, I think it would be kind of interesting to see Maxx Crosby for Lamar Jackson straight up. It would be funny because Ravens fans would say, no, I don't want to do that. I think Raiders fans would say, no, I don't want to do that. But if they even said, hey, I want number 98, because I saw some trade on social media about, the Ravens getting Maxx Crosby and 2 first-round picks. It was Maxx Crosby goes to Baltimore for Rashad Bateman and 2 first-round picks. Whoever came up with that trade is a moron, and I just want y'all to know it. But, I also don't know if you have to give up Maxx Crosby. I don't really think that you do, quite frankly, because you have the number 1 overall pick. The number 1 overall pick is the trump card that nobody else has. And the only way, to me, the only way you're going to make that trade for Lamar is if you as an organization said, you know what? We're not going to take a quarterback at number 1. We're going to trade back. Maybe you trade back with the New York Jets, who have 5 first-round picks. You say, hey, New York, I want 4 of your first-round picks. Then you use 3 of those first-round picks. You go get Lamar Jackson, you still have a first-round pick. You got to think about it. But to say that you're throwing away a season with Lamar, I'm sorry. I just think that's a crazy statement to make.
And everybody be like, oh, he choked in the playoffs. He lost to the Bills, Josh Allen, by 2 last year, 27-25. You want to hear the stats for Lamar Jackson?
I would love to see a Raiders team choke in the playoffs.
You want to hear
would love it.
The stat difference between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Josh Allen in that game went 16-22 for 127 yards.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson, 18-25, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Did he do anything on the ground?
On the ground, yes, Lamar Jackson had 6 rushes for 39 yards.
So, again, I'm not sitting up here saying we got to do it. But I also know that sometimes when people are doubted, and right now there's a lot of doubt around Lamar, Y'all remember back in 2023 when everybody doubted Lamar Jackson and we could have had him if we wanted him for 2 first-round picks because the Baltimore Ravens franchise tagged him? And he goes for 41 touchdowns, wins an MVP in 2024. Lamar Jacksons don't grow on trees. Lamar Jackson is a top 10, no doubt, player on the planet. And I think he's a top 5 player overall in terms of helping you go out there and do your thing.
I think there's arguments to not want Lamar.
Absolutely.
Money-wise, right? We're going to talk about that later on in the show. With, money, contract, play style, this, that, or the other. But if your argument is Lamar Jackson's not good, I would say get a better argument because
please,
he's good. You don't win the MVP of the NFL twice and you're bad. Like, does that make sense? Like, you're not a bad quarterback and win MVP twice. Like, those two things don't correlate. They don't make any sense.
And I'll admit, like, the one MVP year, you could say maybe was a little bit Mickey Mouse. But then there's some other years that he's got in the mix there. Like his 2024 season, he didn't win an MVP. He was better in 2024 than the year he won MVP. And it's not just Lamar. You got to look at what the Raiders have right now. And if you told me we go out and get the number one, would you guys want the number one interior offensive lineman in free agency? His name's Tyler Lindenbaum. He's played center for the past few years with Lamar Jackson. You put that guy with JPJ, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Ashton Genty, Charles Grant looks like an absolute dog. I know it's limited tape, but I'm telling you this right now. I think he's your starting right tackle next season. Colton Miller, you need to find one other spot. Maybe it's Caleb Rogers, or maybe you still go out and spend a little bit more money on the offensive line. And then you take your whatever draft picks and you go and you invest in your defense. And
if you disagree with us,
that's okay.
Super chat $2 and let us know why you do not want Lamar Jackson. Because I'd love to hear your arguments.
I would.
I'm not saying that, your arguments are invalid. I just don't agree with the argument of Lamar Jackson's not good.
You got to give me Lamar Jackson. Like, you can't, as a Raiders fan, I find it hard that you don't want one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the quarterback position. If we didn't have so many holes, I would just give whatever it took to get Lamar. However, we just have too many holes.
But what if it only took the first pick?
True.
What if it was the first pick and maybe round 3 or round 4 pick?
Kai, I want you to look at the Buffalo Bills roster. And I know we're not talking about the exact same thing, but the Buffalo Bills have a bottom 5-ish, I think bottom 10-ish roster, offense, defense. But they're in the playoff hunt because they got this guy named Josh Allen. The other thing that Lamar Jackson is going to do, the amount of people that will want to play with Lamar, because people know, you go to Lamar Jackson team, you got a shot to win a Super Bowl. So now you got Las Vegas where you can make a lot more money because of the taxes or the lack thereof. And now you're going to be with somebody in, Lamar's a lot of money. Genty, rookie contract. Brock Bowers, rookie contract. Though I can make an argument that he deserves to get extended. It's just when sometimes you look around, you give a team a quarterback, and it's amazing how many other players start playing unbelievable football. And yes, we have a lot of holes. But luckily, we also got the most money in salary cap, or at least top 2. We got top 3 money salary cap when you look at the next 2 years in general. Let's go to Eric M. What up, Eric? You're telling me that Lamar is a 2-time MVP. If he played for the Cardinals his whole career, Lamar has a great coach and organization. Kyler hasn't.
I
agree with this, though. I agree with, Kyler hasn't had a good organization. But comparing Kyler Murray to Lamar Jackson, I still don't think it's close.
It's If ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a great Christmas, right? And you saying, what if Patrick Mahomes played for the Jets?
What if Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback of the Raiders?
Yeah, we could all give hypotheticals.
I don't know.
What if Joe Burrow played for the Dolphins? We could do hypotheticals like that all day long. The fact is, he won 2 MVPs, and you can't take that away.
He's been one of the most winningest quarterbacks over the past, he's been in the NFL since 2017. To me, when you have a player that dominates everywhere they go, you got to take notice of it. He put Louisville on the map, won a Heisman in college football, comes to the NFL. Nobody thinks that he's going to be as good as what he's been. He was a late first-round draft pick. He's proved so many people wrong every single season. And then the best years of Lamar, like that 2024 year of Lamar, I think that he could replicate that because what Derrick Henry did for Lamar that year is what Ashton Genty could do for Lamar. And that option run with two great young tight ends in Bowers and Mayer, it gets me excited, man. It gets me excited. But you're right. The Ravens have had a much better coaching staff. They've had a much better organization than Arizona. There's no doubt about it. But I also do think that there's a lot of concerns around Kyler Murray. There's a lot of character concerns. There's a lot of leadership concerns. The Arizona Cardinals had to put a clause in his contract when they gave him $50 million to not play Call of Duty. Now they ended up taking that out there. Like, that's more concerning to me. I want a guy that loves ball. I want a guy that goes out there and does his thing. And I do think that that's Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he's got some injuries right now. He's a little bit frustrated with how things are going down in Baltimore. But I think it's also because he knows that he's going to have to find a new home next offseason. What up, Raider Gaines? We had a shot at Lamar not that many seasons ago. Second chances do not come often in this league. I'd rather take a proven guy than a cheap guess. Is not that great quarterback class. It's a no-brainer. Now, again, I'm a little bit higher on Fernando Mendoza, and I do believe that Mendoza can be a good quarterback. But at the exact same time, if you're going to tell me we shouldn't go out and get Lamar Jackson because we have too many holes, I can make that exact same argument that we got too many holes, we shouldn't draft a rookie quarterback. I actually think we're a lot closer than what people realize. I also think that when you look at this Raiders team, I get that they're really bad, but they are so poorly coached that when you get a good head coach and you have a high draft pick, you can get it turned around really quick. The Commanders last season, the Patriots this season. When you have the right people in place and you put the right plan together, build a great offensive line, put Lamar Jackson on that team with our current players on this roster. A lot of young players on this roster. Again, man, I actually don't even think it would be that hard year one for Lamar to take the Raiders to the playoffs. I don't think it's that crazy of a statement. Let's go to Michael Avillier next up here on the Raiders Report. Jackson doesn't score anyone with his arm. He's a glorified running back playing quarterback. Do you have that list for Cat by any chance of his passing stats? Michael, can you tell me, Michael, who was the last Raiders quarterback that threw for 40 touchdowns in a season? Tell me the last Raiders quarterback that threw for 35 touchdowns in a season. I'll tell you this, it's never happened. The Las Vegas Raiders do not have a quarterback in their franchise history. Darryl LaMonica threw for 34 touchdowns one time. Derek Carr threw for 32 touchdowns one time. So you're telling me you're not going to want a guy that threw for over 4,000 yards, 41 touchdowns with Rashad Bateman, who's good, okay. I think Zay's also a good receiver. Mark Andrews, but you can't tell me 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, that's not a fluke. On top of that, he's rushing for 1,000 yards, right? He threw for 36 touchdowns in 2021. I mean, this Lamar Jackson is instantly, and I mean instantly, the greatest quarterback that has ever worn a Raiders uniform. If that statement upsets you, I'm sorry. It's not a disrespect to LaMonica, Rich Gannon, Ken Stabler, Derek Carr. It's not a disrespect to any of those guys. If we're talking just talent and talent alone, there's never been a quarterback that is as talented as Lamar Jackson that would wear a Raiders uniform. I get glorified running back. I would love Ashton Genty if he threw for 41 touchdowns next season. I would love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Show all his seasons, not just the 2 good ones. I mean, weren't those, I mean, our graphic is the last 4 years. So how about this? So, all right, if we're talking, so he threw for 36 touchdowns in 2019, but that year he also, though, he had a QBR of 83.0, which was actually the highest in the NFL. Quarterback rate that year of 113.3. I mean, you're talking about 2024, he led the NFL with a quarterback rating of 119 point. His quarterback rating last season was 119.6. QBR 74.8. The other year he won MVP was 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but he ran for over 1,000 yards. It's the combination. Like, It's the combination of what your offense could be with a mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson, with 2 tight ends, a good offensive line, and Ashton Genty. Like, I don't think that that's that hard to wrap my mind around. I like this debate, though. Honestly, guys, I freaking love this debate that we're having right now, and I really, really appreciate each and every one of y'all. This is a hell of an end to the 2025 season. This Sacramento, am I drunk? Honestly, I wish I was. I wish I was. But if what I'm saying up here is making me sound drunk, I'm worried that y'all have seen such bad quarterback play for so long that you forget what good quarterback play actually looks like. Like, Lamar with Genty, Bowers, and Mayer, I do it. Rob, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, I mean, his running stats, too.
I mean, look at these running numbers from a quarterback. Like, he's going to go down in the books, I think you could say, as the best running quarterback of all time. Cam Newton is going to be in that conversation. People talk about Michael Vick, but Lamar Jackson's numbers compared to Michael Vick and a lot of these guys, it's not even close. By QB in NFL history. I'm going to look some up real quick here. Lamar Jackson already has the most rushing yards of all time in NFL history at the quarterback position. There are only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history with over 6,000 rushing yards. Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. And Lamar's did it in 30 less games than Michael. Now, he don't have as many rushing touchdowns as Cam Newton, but I would make the argument the way that Cam Newton runs the ball is a lot scarier than the way Lamar does. And at 28 years old, he's shown you that he is a good enough of a thrower of a football where I believe you're going to get another 5-ish really good flipping years of Lamar. Let's go to Buckeye Raider. What up, Buckeye? Also, we will do a Lamar Jackson segment today, and we're also going to do a little bit of some head coaching rumors because we got some interesting things to talk about around 2 candidates. Buckeye, how does the deal get done with Lamar if we trade back for more picks? Would the deal with Lamar need to be done before we trade back, or does that happen literally during the draft? Love our nation. Happy New Year. Go Raiders. The trade, I think if you honestly tried to go out and get Lamar Jackson, this is me, if I'm the Raiders, you either have to involve a player like Maxx. If you don't want to involve a player like Maxx, like if you don't want to give up multiple first-round picks, you got to trade Maxx Crosby. If you don't want to trade Maxx Crosby, then your options are probably trading that number 1 pick, but it has to happen in the free agency time. Because what will happen is there will be teams that pick up the phone and they will call Baltimore. The new league year begins March 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. There is a 48-hour window. It's called the legal tampering period. As soon as that legal tampering period starts, wait until you see how many people pick up the phone and they call the Baltimore Ravens for Lamar Jackson, especially if they win this weekend, especially if they make a little bit of a playoff run. So I do actually think if you're the Raiders, the trade for the number 1 pick, it would have to happen. Now, I'll be at the NFL Combine this season. Me and a few of the guys here at Chat Sports will be there, so I'll try to do my best to get some inside scoops on a bunch of the information that we get there because there's going to be a lot of people there. But after the NFL Combine, you have a lot of those meetings, owners' meetings. You have a lot of those conversations. You get your trade in place. You make your trade. You get those picks. Then you go out and trade for Lamar Jackson. That's how I think that would end up going down. Buckeye Raider, Happy New Year to you, and good luck to Ohio State. What up, Jose? Goodell getting calls to investigate our tanking. Why? I mean, I think anybody that thinks that this is true, one, honestly doesn't follow the Las Vegas Raiders. So, Jose, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. I would be shocked if you are subscribed. Maxx Crosby has been injured since week 5. Brock Bowers has been battling a knee injury basically since week 1. Now, I get it. Those guys played 100% of the snaps the week before. That's because Max is a psycho. It's because Brock Bowers is going to go out there and do his job and never complain about it. Colt Miller's been IR since week 4. Jeremy Chin has been battling, a handful of different injuries, no doubt about it. But, this happens every single year. I will admit, I'm kind of interested in the idea of, an NFL draft lottery, obviously after we get the first overall pick. But I think a draft lottery would be really interesting. And I think if the NFL is legitimately concerned about the Raiders tanking, I think another team that you should investigate then is the Arizona Cardinals. because ever since Kyler Murray's gone down, that team's lost 8 straight games, and they have decided to play Jacoby Brissett over a quarterback that they just gave 50-something plus million to, and Kyler Murray. The tanking investigation rumors are the biggest way to freak you the F out and get you to click into that video. To me, I don't talk about everything. I love rumors. Y'all know I'm a slut for a good rumor. There's a reason why I don't talk about it, because there is not going to be an investigation. Because the amount of other things that are happening around the NFL, there's not nearly enough evidence to prove that we're tanking. Because I don't think that we are tanking. I think the Raiders are just this bad, right? Like, the Raiders lost 24 points. 24 points to the Giants. I get you. We've also lost by 24 points 8 times this season.
I was going to say.
We're a really bad football team.
Speaking of investigations.
Yeah, dude, the Diggs family's having a rough day.
If you didn't see the NFL news from earlier, the Cowboys released corner Trayvon Diggs after basically him and Jerry Jones had it out. The Cowboys have been benching him and saying that he's injured and that they're basically not playing him because of his injuries. Trayvon Diggs has publicly said the past 3 weeks, that's a lie. I'm healthy. The Cowboys go ahead and release him, and he's looking to sign with the playoff team this week. So, I don't know, maybe if it's a team like the Bills,
I'm trying to think who needs cornerback help. The other problem about Trayvon Diggs, to me, is one of the most overrated corners in the National Football League. He is. I mean, he had one good year. A lot of picks.
Could he go play with his brother? Who, you didn't see that, is also in the news because there are allegations and a current investigation going on between Stephon Diggs and his personal chef, saying that he basically assaulted and strangled her in his home.
Yeah, clearly there's an issue with the Diggs family. I'm not associated with any of them. I don't know obviously I don't know what has happened, what has not happened, but I am a believer in trouble has a way of finding certain people, and there's probably a reason why it happens to find certain people over and over and over again.
Stephon Diggs, I'll say this, last year with the Houston Texans, I didn't really hear anything in terms of him getting in trouble, this, that, or the other. Signed a massive contract with the Patriots this offseason, was seen on a boat with a suspicious pink substance. I don't know what it was. I'm not going to say that he was doing something, but it looked to be pretty nefarious. Yep. And then there's this coming out. I do think, though, it does make a lot of sense if Trayvon Diggs wants to go play with the Patriots. They're currently the 2 seed in the AFC. They need some secondary help. I think that would make some sense.
3 years, $69 million, $23 million guaranteed. Stephon Diggs. Let's go to the real Cowboy. Also, reminder, y'all, we are doing a duck race today. $20 Venmo, Mitchell Rents 365, Joey Diavilla, Irvin Chavez. You guys got in yesterday, so I just want to let y'all know. Sean Morgan, Brian Baca, Soldier Man, LA Crash Dog. You guys are in our race today. $20 Venmo to win $60. To everybody that gets in the duck race today, $20 Venmo. I'm going to end up giving you it's 20 raffle tickets for a shot to win the signed Maxx Crosby helmet. Pretty good deal. Trade Crosby for Jackson straight up and then take Arvell number 1.
The Ravens say no.
I was going to say, the Ravens laugh at you and they hang up the phone. And it's not that Maxx isn't an incredible player. We know Maxx is an incredible player, but you're trading the defensive end for one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And if the Raiders, and I mean this, if the Raiders traded Maxx Crosby, let's just say, straight up for Lamar Jackson, and if you took Arvell at number 1, I would actually be disappointed. Not because I don't think Arvell's a hell of a player. I don't know if y'all saw the video that I did today. I really talked about if you're the Raiders and you don't want to take QB, there's only 2 players you can think about. Arvell Reese or Ruben Bain. I don't want to hear any other discussions. But if you were to do that trade straight up and you didn't trade back in the NFL draft, I would have an absolute conniption. Like, if you trade a Maxx Crosby straight up for Lamar Jackson, took care of your quarterback position, and you still had the number 1 overall pick, and you didn't trade it back to get more picks, I would lose my flipping mind. Sean Irish, luck of the Irish to you. What do you call a deaf gynecologist? Holy shit. I expect this out of Darth. I was waiting for the gynecologist. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
JP, that was fun for a little while. Lamar for Crosby and a first-round pick swap. So where are the Ravens at right now? They're probably in the 20s to the teens.
Yeah, they're still in the playoff race, so they'd be probably 18, 19, or 20.
So right now, as it stands, they're at 16. So what? We would get pick 16. They would get pick number 1. We swap Lamar and Crosby. I'll actually say this. I don't think that's that out of the realm of possibilities. The only reason why, again, I would say no to that is because I got a really good source with the New York Jets organization, and they are all in on Mendoza. What they did, trading away Quinnen, trading away Sauce, they got 5 first-round picks. 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. I think what you would be able to get if you traded back with New York would blow a lot of people's minds out there. So because of that, I don't think that this is actually the worst idea. I think it's kind of an interesting trade. I would want to do a little bit more homework on it. But to me, if you're the Raiders, swapping 1 for 16, you're losing a lot. That number 1 pick, because of quarterback scarcity this offseason, is going to be skyrocketed in price. And I know the quarterback class isn't all that great, but Chugs just showed you the QBs that are probably going to hit the open market. Then you got to trade for Lamar. It is very, very expensive. And I would say because we have that number 1 pick, that's a golden ticket. And people will pay a lot for that golden ticket. Let's go to Stabler for president. What about bringing in Kirk Cousins to mentor Mendoza? Hate it. And I hate it only because Kirk Cousins was pissed off when he had to mentor Michael Penix. It's also one of the reasons why certain things didn't go the way that they did in Minnesota, and he went out the door there. Kirk wants to compete, Kirk wants to win, and he wants to be the starting quarterback. You already have a great mentor on your team. His name is Aiden O'Connell, and he comes at a much, much cheaper price tag. I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell is as good as Kirk Cousins on a football field. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying from what a mentor needs to be, you already have your mentor in Aiden. And if you draft Mendoza at number 1 overall, you're starting him. He's going to go out there, and he's going to play. Let's go to Chicken Little. You're next up here on the Raiders Report. You think the NFL will investigate? No. By the way, the worst tank for the Andrew Luck, he retired really freaking early. He was 29 years old when he retired. What up, Alfredo? These Raider fans are acting like we've been spoiled with a great quarterback play. Lamar would be the best quarterback we've probably ever had. It's not even probably. Lamar Jackson would be the greatest quarterback that has ever played for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I get Lamar doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. I get you. And I know multiple Raiders quarterbacks have some Super Bowl rings. But you can't honestly tell me that you think can somebody actually I'm curious. Somebody go down in the comments section right now. If you think Lamar Jackson would be the greatest quarterback that's ever played for the Raiders, type Lamar. If you think it's somebody else, give me the name. I just want to see what you guys think who's better than Lamar, I guess. Again, to me, I don't know who you'd come up with. I think the only argument you can give me is Ken Stabler because he's got multiple Super Bowls. But no disrespect to the snake, he ain't Lamar. It's just, he ain't Lamar. I see Rowe, I see Just, Richard Black, Abel, again, Ken Stabler and Lamar Jackson. Yikes.
It's
and
hard.
I really think you're just saying that because he is a Raider.
It's also hard because they're not even playing the same game.
Yeah.
You go back to
Raiders trade says Mendoza.
Not a bad answer. Bono!
It's up there. What the F did I miss? Something. Sucking the porcelain god for a week. Dude, I'm super sorry, man. I've been having some stomach issues myself. When you're dealing with that, it's freaking blows. How did Jackson come up? Just because there's so many discussions right now around the NFL with Lamar Jackson, and there's a lot of people that think that Baltimore is going to move on from Jackson, and I'm going to talk about it on today's show. You'll see there's a reason why I'm talking about it. Lamar and the Raiders have been linked. So anytime there's rumors or anytime the Raiders have been linked, especially to a guy like Lamar, I'm going to talk about it. Yes, take him in a heartbeat with these kids he would play with. Still, my heart is with Mendoza. And I'm with you, Bono. We're in a great situation. Imagine you as a Raiders fan are sitting here going, do I want Mendoza or do I want Lamar Jackson? I don't know who your hall pass is in your mind. Think of your top 2 hall passes. That's kind of how I feel right now. I'm like, oh, you're telling me I can have Sofia Vergara or I can have I don't know, I was just giving Sydney Sweeney or Sofia Vergara? Yeah. Honey bun, I love you. To the end of the moon and back. I love my wife. But, like, we all have a hall pass. We all have that thing in our mind. Like, to me, as a Raider fan right now, if you're saying no to Sofia Vergara, you're saying no to Lotto. Lotto's been making the way up the chart.
Yeah.
Like, if you say no to that, like, all right, that's fine. That's fine. I don't believe you, but that's fine. Bono, again, to me, we were in a good position to be able to have these conversations. And I think Lamar Jackson, in an instant, makes you a playoff caliber team.
Alexandra Daddario. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
I was going to say, I couldn't think of.
You put me on the spot there. Yeah. Alexandra Daddario.
It's probably good that you didn't think of it, especially if your wife's watching.
Yeah. From, she was on Baywatch. She was also on season 1 of White Lotus.
Oh, okay. Now I know who you're talking
Great
about.
actress.
Great actress.
Bono throws it up, too.
Bono! Bang! Maybe it's a goaltend. I don't know. Mitch, I'm trying to pull it together. How could we keep Maxx and get Jackson? Happy New Year to the nation. You trade the number 1 overall pick to the New York Jets. You trade the number 1 pick to the New York Jets, and you say, all right, this is how we're going to do it. I want multiple first-round picks. I want some second-round picks, and then you take those picks, and then you go give them to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. That's how you keep both.
If you're the Jets at this point, do you just package 3 of those picks to give to the Ravens?
I'm trying to see how much money the Jets have in salary cap, because I actually don't know.
I'd imagine a lot.
I would imagine a lot too, but
they're paying Justin Fields.
All right,
nothing.
Yeah, so they got $82 million next year. So that's essentially their entire salary cap for Lamar.
Worth it.
Hey, dude, Happy New Year to you also, Bono. For those of you that do not know, tomorrow is Chuck's birthday. So my wife, Alex, and I, we actually celebrate our New Year's today. I do have to get out of here in about 90-ish minutes from now. Like, that is my absolute cutoff time. So I just want y'all to know, just to be very clear, we are, though, going to do two segments today, one of which will clearly be around Lamar Jackson. Also, I just saw a few extra people get in our duck race. $20 Venmo, Mitchell Renz 365. Jonathan Green, I need another 5 from you, or else I'm just going to give you raffle tickets. Simon TG, what's going on, Simon? You're in. Husker, I got you. Bayou, I got you. $20 Venmo. Right now, you'd win $90 here on the show. And if you send me a $20 Venmo, I'm going to give you 20 raffle tickets for a shot to win a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. I hate this talk. Wait, can you go back?
Oh, yep.
From Kai, it gets me dreaming about Lamar on the Raiders, but realistically, our chances are very slim. They're definitely slim, no doubt about it, but in the NFL, anything's possible. Like, the chances for the Raiders to trade for Devontae Adams were way, way smaller than the Raiders going out and getting Lamar. Because if you're an organization and you want to try to attract a brand new head coach, and if that head coach is like, think about this right now. Imagine you're the Raiders and Lamar Jackson's your quarterback and you don't have the number 1 overall pick. Do you know how many coaches would be lining up to be the head coach of this team? I mean, and in all honesty, think about it. And it's because, so if you bring in a guy and they want to be aggressive and they want to say, hey, we're going to go get our quarterback, I think it's a very, very easy thing for that new head coach, new organization, new front office to say, Mendoza or Lamar. And if you're the Raiders, you have the salary cap, you have the draft capital, you can pick. That's a really, really good place to be in, if you ask me. Anthony, what's up, man? Trade back, trade Maxx, trade for Lamar, and build. I mean, if you trade back and you trade Maxx, to me, that is a minimum of 5 first-round picks. You use 5 of those first-round picks. Let's say you use 3 of them. You go get Lamar. You still got 2 first picks remaining. That's not a bad idea. And y'all know I love Maxx. And I said it the other day on my show. If Maxx Crosby doesn't want to buy in to the Raiders' plan of shutting him down and putting us in the best situation possible in 2026 and beyond, he can go somewhere else. I love Maxx. Maxx is my favorite Raider of all time, but nobody is above the shield. And if you would take Maxx Crosby over Lamar Jackson, I'm just going to respectfully disagree with that. Let's go to Danny Rhines. Tank for Lamar, draft Carr next year. Yeah, again, if you get Lamar, you throw C.J. Carr out the window. Like, I know the Raiders like C.J. Carr. I know Brady's a big fan of Carr. Brady's also a big fan, though, of Lamar. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Carlos, getting an offensive head coach should 100% be the priority. You know, I think it, again, comes down to what the coach's plan is. And right now, I know the Raiders are looking at more defensive-minded guys. So, like, to me, I have heard 3 names. The 3 names that I've heard, I'll be real, none of them are offensive-minded head coaches. So, if you're going to take a QB like Mendoza, I agree with you that if you're taking a young quarterback, you better hire an offensive-minded head coach. If you would roll with somebody like Lamar, you can be a little bit more flexible, and you might be able to go get that defensive-minded guy, because in my mind, if I got Lamar Jackson, my offense is fixed. If I got Lamar Jackson, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Genty, and I got the other amount of money that I can spend to build an offensive line with Michael Mayer mixed in with a good player like Trey Tucker and Jack Besh, my offense is good. Like, they're gonna that offense is gonna move the football. If I hire a defensive-minded guy, then he's got to be able to fix the defense with not as many resources. So again, it's what is the plan? What you can't have happen is what the Raiders did this past offseason, where the front office was doing this, your coaching staff's doing this, and then we end up looking like a 2-14 Pete Carroll Raiders. Jersey boy, what's going on, man? If Lamar is possible, better sign Linderbaum too. Y'all know how much I love the idea of putting JPJ at center, man. I fought for it, fought for it so much the Jackson Powers Johnson family sent me a JPJ signed jersey because they know I got his back. If there's one player in this offseason that we can go out and get and make JPJ the guard, you know, we always joke like Bayou Raider Jerry Danley, the Bash Brothers, Raider Ron Davidson, the Bash Brothers. It's knuckle puck time if it's JPJ and Linderbaum. Like that duo right there is exactly why relationships on the offensive line matter. Chemistry with your team matters. Putting a plan together matters. And a physical running back like Genty with 2 tight ends, I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. That is a sexy, sexy team, man. Simon, what's going on, brother? Love you guys. Just bought a Raiders, I don't know what that is.
Kobiha jacket.
You know what that is?
Maybe a windbreaker like jacket?
I'm literally looking it up right now.
Oh, yeah, it's a windbreaker.
All right.
It's like the 90s style.
Oh, dude, these are sick. I didn't spell it right. Oh, see, these are fresh. Sorry, I'm still trying to learn Spanish. The other day I was in here. We had a few of our cleaning people here at Chat Sports, and I'm picking up a little bit here and there, you know. And I heard the one woman, she was like, I really want coffee, but I'm afraid to ask him. And I go, oh, you can have some coffee. And she was like, oh, wow, like, I didn't realize like you spoke Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I understand a little bit here and there, poquito. But the other day, I said ponche on the show, and I'm sorry that I don't remember who commented this on one of the YouTube videos, but they were like, Mitch, are you Mexican? Because I heard you say ponche, and I thought you were Mexican. I'm not Mexican. I married a Mexican. Husker, number of first-round picks for Lamar should match remaining years on his contract. See, here's the thing, though, with the Lamar deal. I actually think that the moment Lamar Jackson gets traded, a new contract ends up happening. Because when you look at Lamar's deal, right, he's still got 2026, 2027, but Baltimore then has 2028, 2029 void years on that deal. His salary cap is gigantic. And if you're the Raiders, the way that you would do it is you go out, you trade for Lamar Jackson. He's got 2 years left on that contract. It's a lot of money. $74.5 million is the salary cap hit the next 2 years. Luckily, you're the Raiders. You're probably one of the only teams that can take that on and still be able to add talent. But the way that the Raiders would do it, you make that trade for Lamar, you give them probably if the Raiders go out and they trade for Lamar Jackson, I give him instantly a 3-year extension on top of the 2 years that he's got. You got a 5-year window. The way that I honestly think they would do it, they would slap him on this team probably until the year 2029, and you pair him with Maxx Crosby. And then you're like, all right, we're just going to divvy up that money a little bit and then push it off to the back end. Like, that's the way that I would do it. So I know people look at 74.5 and they're like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. 3-year extension, give him a bunch of guarantees. Mark Davis is making a ton of money. Give him a little bit of cash so that salary cap goes down. But a move like that is why Maxx Crosby front-loaded this contract. Like, when you look at Max's deal, it is literally made and it's planned out to be able to do a move like a Lamar Jackson trade. Stoked for life. Plunkett's 2 Super Bowls, and the era make him better. Lamar Jackson would have never survived in that era. Do you think Jim Plunkett would win 2 Super Bowls in this era? I don't know the answer to it. But I will also say you can't tell me Jim Plunkett, because to me, I'm saying talent. Not like, to me, talent-wise, with all due respect to Jim Plunkett, again, we're talking about an alien in Lamar.
Lamar Jackson runs for 5,000 yards in a season.
I just
in the 70s.
You know, I mean, again, we're talking about a QB that runs a 4.3. We're talking about a guy that can throw the football really all over the football field. I'm not trying to knock Jim Plunkett, but I do really, really I think Lamar Jackson does survive. I don't know if a lot of old school quarterbacks, I can make sorry, is Kenny Stabler a good enough a thrower of a football to be able to exist in today's day and age? You know, you can make the exact same argument. I get it. People are always going to say Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, and that's what people are going to hang their hat on.
This argument is the Babe Ruth would hit a home run off of Shohei Ohtani.
Get out of here.
That's this argument to me.
Yeah, again,
maybe it's not apples and oranges, but come on.
Like, does Wilt Chamberlain score 100 in today's day and age? No. Again, athletes, I'm sorry, but athletes today are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, they're just better athletes overall. Jacob, if the Raiders are going to if the Raiders lose to the Chiefs, maybe gets 2 wins, 14 loss, but I got to admit, Mitch and Chugs, I hope Kenny Pickett going to be okay. Jacob, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm not really sure what you're asking me here. I don't know if I hope Kenny Pickett starts. Like, to me, the only way that I don't want Kenny Pickett to start in this game is if the New York Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys, and then we can roll into Week 18 and root for Aiden O'Connell to be able to beat the Chiefs and still get the number 1 overall pick. What's crazy is, though, the Giants actually can lose to Dallas, and we still can get that first overall pick. If you didn't see the video that I put out earlier today, it's around that discussion. Jonathan Green, I wanted raffle tickets. All right, you're good, Jonathan. I was just saying, Jonathan, if you sent me an extra $5 on Venmo, I'll put you in the duck race so you have a chance to win. It'd be $100, and you would get 20 raffle tickets. If what you send me, from what I'm looking at here, you're only going to get, I think it's like 10 raffle tickets. Less. So I'm just trying to give you the best deal possible. That's all. But I hear you. I got you. Let's go to Alfredo Robles. Mendoza, Jackson, Carr, Chugs, whoever. How confident you feel we can get our franchise quarterback this offseason? Probably the most confident that I've been since I've been doing this show. You know, and that's maybe not saying a lot, but I'll keep saying this. If you're a Raider fan, you got to be hopeful in the offseason. If you're not hopeful in the offseason, you're gonna kill yourself, right? Like you're really, really going to struggle. But I think you have the path to go get your franchise quarterback. And the reason why I would actually answer the poll above finding a head coach, because the Las Vegas Raiders have proven to me that if you don't have a coach, if you don't have a coaching staff, it really doesn't flipping matter what you have. Because, again, like if we're fans can sit here and say that's going to be a problem, 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 and the coaching staff does it anyway, it ends up being a problem. Like, it ends up being a problem, right? Like, the other day when we heard the press conference, one of the beat reporters were talking about how great of a season Devin White has, and I think Pete Carroll honestly think Devin White's having a good season. Like, that's concerning to me. If you, like, really, really good football teams, I believe in today's day and age of the NFL, there's a reason why certain teams are good year after year after year. It's because the coaching staff that they have. Look at the amount of players that have been injured on the San Francisco 49ers. That's still a great coaching staff. Look at the amount of players that have been injured for the Rams. That's still a great coaching staff. The Raiders this year were the healthiest team in the National Football League. Think about it. They were. They were the healthiest team in the National Football League. Like, that's not me just making a comment. It's actually a proven fact. It is a proven stat. The Raiders this season were the healthiest football team in the National Football League. And we looked like this. It's because of how bad our coaches were from top to bottom. It's because the plan wasn't put in place. And when everybody is super talented, and everybody is super talented in the NFL, but when you just use guys the right way, it can make all the difference in the world. Let's go to Money. What up, Money? Hey, Mitch, been watching the Raiders Report for a while. Happy New Year. What do you think of getting Mendoza first round and hiring Clint Kubiak? I love that idea. Like, to me, if you're going to take Mendoza, the number one guy I would try to go out and hire is Clint Kubiak. Because then you also got to think the style of offense Clint Kubiak likes to run. I think that's perfectly matched with a quarterback like Mendoza, with a running back like Genty, with a team that's got 2 tight ends that can build an offensive line. Like, you got to come up with the right plan in order for it to make sense. Let's go to Alexander. Draft Mendoza in O-line, but still buy a vet quarterback. I don't like that idea. You have Aiden O'Connell. You can say what you want about Aiden, but Aiden's good enough as a QB2. Cam Miller's good enough of a quarterback 3. Because if you buy a veteran quarterback, that's $10 million plus. I'd rather you spend that $10 million maybe on the trenches, maybe on another defensive player or 2. We don't need a veteran quarterback if we already have I know Aiden's considered a young guy, but, dude, he's got the mind of a veteran quarterback. You can't tell me he done. Let's go to OG. What up, OG? Does Tyree Wilson come back? How much would Stokes cost? So, yes, Wilson will be back. Sorry, I just want to write this down real quick here. Jonathan Green, you're in. I just wanted to document that just so I didn't forget. But Tyree's, he's still under contract. The important date this year for Tyree, I don't remember what day it is exactly. It might actually be May 1st, but it's when the Raiders have to make their decision on him for the 5th-year option. Obviously, there's not going to be a 5th-year option for Tyree Wilson. This is probably going to be his final year with the Raiders. In terms of Eric Stokes, I would offer Stokes a 3-year deal, probably put him at somewhere between $8 to $9 million per year. I would guarantee 2 of those seasons, so he's essentially getting like $20 million up front, which is great considering he got a 1-year, $4 million deal this past season. That's what I would look at. There has been some rumors, some chatter out there that he could get 11, 12, 13 plus. The way I look at Eric Stokes is the same way that I'll look at a guy like Trevon Merrick. I think Merrick, again, better player than what Stokes was, but I'm not willing to overpay for a guy like Merrick. He's doing good right now in Carolina. That 3-year, $59 million deal, like that was an overpay in my book for Merrick. I wanted him, overpay. If you're the Raiders, you can't overpay in too many areas because of how many holes you need. The only place I'm willing to overpay on the offensive line, in the trenches on the defensive line. If I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times. If I'm going to overpay this offseason, you better put your hand in the dirt. And if your hand don't go in the dirt, then you better be Lamar Jackson. Coming up here on the Raiders Report, we are going to get into some of these head coaching rumors that I do think need to be discussed. I want to say this. I've loved the conversation that we've had on today's show. We got over 750 people here in the building right now. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button or else my guy Ron Raspberry, he's going to come looking for you. Before we get into this program, I do see a bunch of people that are getting in our duck race here. And then, Shugs, I'm going to send you some messages. We are going to go to something after this first segment because it's getting a little wild. I'm not going to lie to you. It's getting a little, I'm trying to figure out how to spell this one. All right. It's getting a little bit wild here on the Raiders Report. Y'all ready to get into this very first segment? I hope that you are, though I did just see the Raiders made a minor roster move. The Raiders have signed safety Brandon Hill to the practice squad. Oh, really? Okay. I thought you were effing with me. Like Brandon Hill, I have no idea who that is. Sorry, Brandon. If you're watching this show right now, if anybody knows who Brandon Hill is, get me in contact with Brandon, and we'll do an entire live show around the Raiders signing Brandon Hill to the practice squad. I don't know every player. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I would never lie to y'all. The moment I start lying to y'all, go watch somewhere else. Coming up, let's talk about some Raiders head coaching rumors, and it's bad news for Pete Carroll. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And you smell that? Where there's smoke, there is fire. And there is a lot of smoke right now around multiple Raiders head coach candidates. I'm going to tell you two people that I have heard the Raiders sniffing around about. And I'm sorry, it's really bad news for Paw Pete. So the way that today's show is going to go, I'm going to get into the Pete Carroll news and rumors. I'm going to get into the coaching rumors as well. Before I do all that, though, today's show is sponsored by Panda Sups. Make sure that you use code RaidersPanda for 25% off at pandasups.com. It's going to help you get the hands on the best workout supplements out there. If you're somebody that gets annoyed that the gym gets packed in January, at least pack up your cabinet with some awesome Panda Sups protein. Telling you, it's going to change your life. Let's go to the bad news here to start this show off for Pete Carroll. And according to NFL Insider Ian Rapoport, he said it is doubtful for Carroll to return to the silver and black. Quote, "We'll see if Pete Carroll is there for it. I doubt it, but we will see it." When I hear an NFL insider use the word doubt, and again, I'm not saying that he's confirming anything, but based on what I've heard, based on everything we've heard, based on people I've talked to in the front office, ownership, I know that there's a lot of people ready to move on from Pete Carroll. But the reason why doubtful is an extremely, extremely important word, it's because it's an NFL term. And everybody here that watches the NFL, everybody that watches the National Football League knows when you hear doubtful. Now, I know they don't use it anymore. I kind of actually hate it because I remember the old days when it would be like probable, questionable, doubtful. They don't really do doubtful anymore. It's really just questionable or probable. But when an NFL insider uses the word doubtful, I want you to think about what that term means. Now, if you follow Maxx Crosby, I still remember the game that mother effer played, even though he said he was doubtful. He's a warrior. Think about the terminology. For Rap Sheet to say doubtful, I think we already know the writing is on the wall. And I'm ready to go. I got my show ready to go. I've already talked to my team here at Chat Sports. When the Raiders fire Pete Carroll, I will be live. 11 hours, 11 minutes. If you're like, Mitch, why is it 11:11? It's because a few weeks ago, probably a few months ago at this point, I was up here on this show, and I said if I could make a wish right now, it would be to move on from Pete Carroll. 11:11, let's make a wish. I once went live for 26 straight hours for Josh McDaniels getting fired. The reason why I'm not going live for more than 11 hours and 11 minutes, because if I do, the YouTube video will not be saved. And unfortunately, I had to learn that one the hard way. This video, I want to be saved. And I'm telling you this right now, if you've had to deal with a tough season, this is going to be, I think, maybe the craziest live show I've done since the firing of Josh McDaniels. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, the Silver and Black, they are eyeing a certain head coach candidate. And I'm going to go in a little bit more depth around who that candidate is. And then at the very, very end of the show, I'm going to give you another name that I have recently heard that is going to get some people going, that's pretty interesting. Let's go to the name that I've been mentioning probably the most out of any Raiders head coach candidate. It is Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers. And I've said it probably over the past month that the Raiders are eyeing Jesse Minter to be their next head coach. I am not saying that he is going to get the job. I'm telling y'all right now that if you were to ask me who do I think is the Raiders' number one candidate, I believe it's the DC for the Chargers. The other reason why that I say that is because I said before Michigan ever fired Moore that we were hearing here at Chat Sports, my boss is very, very well tied into Michigan. We were hearing that they were going to move on from Moore. We said that weeks before it ended up happening. I was under the impression that Michigan was going to hire Jesse Minter. Obviously, they went out, they got Utah coach Kyle Whittingham. So for that reason, I'm sitting here going, well, if I thought the number one team was going to steal Minter away from the Raiders, because I do think the Michigan head coaching job is probably better than the Raiders job at the time. Now with the number one overall pick, I think it's very, very much up for debate. But if Minter's available, based on the conversations that I've heard, I believe the number one target to be the Raiders head coach next season will be Jesse Minter. So here's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Mitch, what the hell's a pinned comment? It's literally the comment underneath this video that I want each and every one of y'all to go answer, and I took the time to pin it. It took a second or two, but you know what? Sometimes I've done my best work in a second or two. Would you want Jesse Minter to be the Raiders head coach? Give me a yes, give me a no. My answer is coming up here after this YouTube ad break. Yes, I would love Jesse Minter to be the head coach. Here's the thing, though. There's a lot of coaches that I would welcome with open arms to the silver and black. Is Jesse Minter better than Pete Carroll? Right? We know, right? Like, we know what that answer is. But to me, there are so many coaches that I would take over Pete. But I also want to be very clear. I do have Minter as a top 3 candidate for the silver and black based on who I talk to and based on what I believe is best for the Raiders. If you want to see my top 10 head coach candidates in 2026, I put this video out, I don't know, probably a month ago, because I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would say I have been the number one person on the Pete Carroll is going to get fired list before anybody else out there, before Rapp, before Schefter, before everybody out there, because I believe my sources, and I'm not trying to be an insider, but I'll say it all the time. If I get information, I'm going to tell y'all. And whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, I don't care. I'm going to give you the information that I hear. And Jesse Minter is a name that everybody has to consider being a legit candidate to be this Raiders' next head coach. Coming up here next on the program, I'm going to tell you why the Raiders are interested in Minter. And I'm going to tell you why connections matter in the National Football League. And I know the word connection might scare fans because Josh McDaniels, Pete Carroll. But the word connection shouldn't scare you. Relationships matter in the NFL. Guys seeing eye to eye matters in the NFL. You know what also matters in the NFL? Being in the best shape you possibly can be. And that's where I'm here to help you out with our sponsor, Panda Sups. Use code RaidersPanda. If you don't know how to spell it, honestly, that's on you. You don't even deserve the promo code. 25% off at pandasups.com. And they got all sorts of brand new items. The thing that you see up on screen right now, it's their shakers to make their food taste awesome. And I'm always trying to eat a little bit healthier. They got Hefe Special, roasted veggies, urban butter medley, Texas Heat, Taco Tuesday, the cinnamon honey butter. It's going to blow your mind. Also, what I love, I have packed on a few pounds during the holidays, and sometimes I need that little bit of extra motivation because of how cold it's been down here in Dallas. You take a little bit of that pre-workout scoop of the Panta, it's going to change your game. They also, though, have this other brand new, it's called Pando pre-workout. I do like to pride myself saying that, like, I don't always need pre-workout to get my ass in the gym. But at the same time, sometimes if I need that little bit of an extra pick-me-up, I'm going to end up doing it. Over the holiday break, I think I ate probably 6 s'mores. We were making s'mores with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. We were making s'mores with, what are they, Ferrero Rocher, which they were incredible. Dark chocolate. Now I'm going to start eating healthier s'mores, and I'm going to start doing the Fuel Premium Protein, which has got 30 grams of protein, 11 mouth-watering flavors. Also, the other thing that I love from Panda is their burn. And this is a thermogenic. It's going to help you literally sweat off a lot of that fat. If you got a little bit of a belly on you from the holidays, get rid of it with Panda Sups. I use it all the time. I have actually never heard anybody tell me anything bad about Panda. I love all the time when y'all tell me how good it is down in the comments section. Pandasups.com, 25% off for Raiders Panda. That's the code. Comments, description down below. Let's go to why the Las Vegas Raiders could hire Jesse Minter to be their next head coach. He's got Michigan ties. Michigan ties matter to Brady. Michigan ties matter to John Spytek. Those are your top 2 people right now that are doing this search for the Raiders head coach. In my personal opinion, Minter was the Michigan DC from 2022 to 2023. I don't know if y'all remember, but the Michigan Wolverines won a national championship in 2003. I definitely remember it. Chugs, I don't know if he does. He took a trip to Vegas when they won with my boss, and I can't tell you the rest of that story. Tom Brady and John Spytek also both went to Michigan and really value the way Michigan builds a program. I've said it 100 times on this show. The Raiders want to build this NFL team like a college team in terms of building a program and a winning program. Minter's been able to do that. Let's go to the Harbaugh tree here. Minter's worked underneath John Harbaugh. He's worked underneath Jim Harbaugh. When you work underneath Harbaugh, giggity, maybe, that matters to Mark Davis. Mark Davis loves the Harbaugh family because Al used to work many, many years ago when he was still obviously the owner of the team. Jim Harbaugh got one of his very first starts with the Raiders. And the fact that Minter's worked with Jim and John since 2017, that matters. Minter was the defensive coordinator at Michigan with Jim Harbaugh. Currently the defensive coordinator underneath Harbaugh right now at the Chargers. Harbaugh matters to Mark Davis. And if it matters to Mark Davis, and if it's important to Tom Brady and John Spytek, you could start to connect the dots here a little bit. Let's go to the next reason why I think they could hire him. He's a young coach. If this team's going to be a rebuild, you can't rebuild with a 74-year-old head coach in Pete Carroll. It was a dumb idea to begin with. Minter's 42. Going to be 43 years old in May. You need somebody that has a proven track record. You need somebody that Mark Davis trusts. You need somebody that Tom Brady and John Spytek trust. And at the young age of 42, look at how good that Chargers defense is playing. They got a lot of talent, but they've also been able to do a lot of special things with it. I'm a believer in Minter. Young coach. Let's bring somebody in that has a flippin' future. No disrespect to Pete. He don't got a future. Minter does have a future. Before we get into the final two reasons why the Raiders could hire Minter, I do want to give a shout out to the Noti gang. These were the very first people to comment on the video that I dropped this morning, which it was a really, really early video. And it was an early video because I saw the fact that the Raiders locked in that top 2 pick. I'm a human just like all y'all. I was like, shit, man, I want to tell Raider Nation about this. So shout out to Stove, Mad Vet Raider, Sean J, Mr. Irish, and then Renee. I see you. I salute you. If you don't know what the Noti gang is, ask somebody. Because the Noti gang is how you get recognized on the show. Because when I'm uploading the video and I hit publish on that bad boy, guess who I see? The Noti gang. Let's go to the next reason here why the Raiders could hire Minter. You steal him away from the Los Angeles Chargers. AFC West experience matters to Mark Davis. Taking somebody away from our AFC West rival should matter to all of y'all. Right now, the Chargers are allowing 20.1 points per game through Week 18. And I know the Chargers just lost to the Texans, but what's something that I say all the time? Good coaches make adjustments. Did y'all see the adjustments Minter made in that game against C.J. Stroud, against the Houston Texans after they gave up those 2 big touchdowns like 6 minutes into the game? They were making Stroud see ghosts. And when you have the ability to implement implement zone, implement man, and mix and match a bunch of different things and have it work, and you confuse somebody as much as they confuse Stroud, a team that's as hot as any team in the NFL right now, Jesse Minter was in his bag. Good coaches make adjustments. Good coaches learn how to make adjustments when you're a part of good coaching cycles. Let's go to the final option here. Quarterback options. If you bring in Minter, you got options. Finding a good head coach is important. Finding a franchise quarterback and making an argument is almost just as important. And I've had a source tell me that Minter is a fan of Mendoza. Now, I think a lot of people are fans of Mendoza. If you're not a fan of Mendoza, I think you're choosing not to be. Now, whether you're a fan of him being number 1 overall pick or not, totally different conversation. But also, Minter's got ties to Indiana. He graduated from Yorktown High School in Indiana. Also, he's got overlap with Lamar Jackson. If you're somebody sitting there that goes, hey, I want the Raiders to either draft Fernando Mendoza or go out and trade for Lamar Jackson, that's me right here. I'll tell you right now, I want Fernando Mendoza, Lamar Jackson. Sign me the F up. He's got overlap with Lamar in Baltimore for multiple seasons from 2017 to 2020. Still part of that Harbaugh tree. The Raiders need a quarterback. The more options that help us get the best quarterback possible is really, really good for the silver and black. And you know what? Speaking of Minter, I'm going to be going live this Thursday, 2026, the first live show of the new league year. Might be to watch our future quarterback. Indiana up against Alabama. I'm going to be going live 30 minutes before this game ends up kicking off. We're going to be rooting for Mendoza. We're going to be rooting for the Indiana Hoosiers. If you're an Alabama fan, I'm sorry, but also I hope that you still tune in. I encourage you to tune in. I want you to tune in. I want you to watch the game with us. Let's have a little bit of fun, because when we do college football games, it's really just about you and I hanging out, us hanging out here, and imagine, we're just all hanging out at a bar, all hanging out at a restaurant, watching Indiana, Alabama. It's literally how this show was made. It's literally how Chat Sports was made. Coming up here next on the show, last up, another spicy head coach rumor around the Raiders, and this is around somebody's name that I've mentioned before on this show. It's around somebody's name that is featured in my top 10 Raiders head coach candidates video, and it's also around a name that's got ties to Tom Brady, and it's a name that I have heard the Raiders are at least looking into. And if the Raiders are already looking into it, it's a name that you guys should keep in mind. The name, Brian Flores. And I don't know if y'all heard Brian Flores' press conference today, but he said, I said this many times, I've loved my time here in Minnesota. Loved. That's past tense. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to hire him, but everybody out there, and I hope what I'm about to say doesn't piss people off, but the Raiders going out and at least showing interest in Brian Flores is a chess to checkers move. And I say that because he is a Rooney Rule potential. Is he way better than the Rooney Rule? Absolutely. Because I feel like when people hear Rooney Rule, people instantly think, oh, you're just bringing in a minority coach to check off a box. This is two birds with one stone. You're going to be able to bring in a coach that honestly deserves to be a head coach in the NFL. I will stand up here right now and I will say Brian Flores deserves to be a head coach in the National Football League. There are not 32 people on this planet better than Brian Flores to being a head coach. So if you're telling me I could check a box with the Rooney Rule, because I don't want to waste people's time. Like last year, the Jags were wasting, I think, Patrick Graham's time because I don't know if they were actually going to give him a head coaching job. That's not fair to those guys. For a guy like Brian Flores, you bring him in, you can check off the Rooney Rule box, but you also bring him in because he is a damn good head coach. Everybody that bleeds silver and black should want the Raiders to bring in Brian Flores for an interview because it is a smart interview for you to do. He's been the Vikings DC since 2023. How many of y'all are sick and tired of watching a bend but don't break defense? I love Patrick Graham, but it's way too conservative. You want a guy that's going to go balls to the wall and bring the heat? That's freaking Brian Flores. He's been a Dolphins head coach from 2019 to 2021. Don't really think he got a fair shake at it. Patriots assistant and coach from 2008 to 18. I know for a fact that Tom Brady and Brian are good now. There were some rumors maybe they weren't good a few years ago. But if Flores comes in, you might be able to bring in a guy like Josh McCown to be your offensive coordinator. Right now, he's the quarterback coach in Minnesota, who also has Sean McVay ties. Sean McVay ties with Brian Flores, I think that is a really, really good recipe for success if the Raiders want to bring him in. What's interesting about these rumors, though, are this. The only names that I have heard personally, again, the only names that I have heard, Robert Saleh, Jesse Minter, Brian Flores. All three are defensive-minded head coaches. The Raiders hired Pete Carroll, defensive-minded head coach. I do wonder if the Raiders had a mindset of, hey, we're going to go defensive mind. We're going to draft some of these offensive-minded guys. I'm not saying that they're going to hire a defensive-minded coach. But right now, the only three names that I know for a fact I've been told, all three of which are defensive-minded head coaches. And Flores, Saleh, Minter are all better than Pete Carroll, which is why this video, really bad news for Pete. Let's go to Bono. When are we going to talk about coaching, or have you? Is that good? I think we did it.
He literally sent this in as we were going to the intro screen.
All right, Bono, I hope that answers your question. This took me out of life. Expect Mr. Merlin would lick me to remind me to feed, touch poop. Happy B-Day, Chuck. Oh, your dog's name is Mr. Merlin. Okay. I'm not going to lie. At first, I was like, dude, I don't know who Mr. Merlin is. I don't know what you're talking about. But I will admit this. Chuck is great with people. Chuck is very hit or miss with certain dogs. Looks like Mr. Merlin is a boy. Chuck's not always the best with a boy. If we introduce Chuck and Mr. Merlin together, can't have any ball. Like he's very territorial about a ball. Any girl dog though, Chuck's always been pretty good. But if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. Just if any shenanigans end up happening, I don't know. You know what though? It's pretty wild. I think Bono likes to play with himself. I only say that because Bono! Bang! Come on, Bono.
Part of me is really hoping that this is the actual Bono.
This might be a dumb question. Is Bono still alive? Yeah. All right. Maybe still. I don't follow a lot of things. what's sad is when I hear Abano, do you know what I think of?
South Park?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
Sadly, yes. Though Mr. Merlin was a dog. Chuck's a dog. This guy, also a dog. L.A. Crash Dog! Bang! Come on, Gunny! Come on down to Gunny's town. Gunny. Said, give me 200. Or no, 400. Right? 400 raffle tickets.
Yep.
To L.A. Crash Dog. What up, Gunny? But you know what's crazy? He wasn't the only one. This is another alley-oop. Eric
Tillotson.
I'm glad you got me there. I was getting nervous. Tillotson?
Yeah.
Are we sure it's Tillotson? Tillotson, let me know. Either way, 100 raffle tickets to Tillotson. That's Lotson.
That's a Lotson.
That's a Lotson.
Going from a Lotson to a ow.
Oh, my God. Nathan Wolf. My dad loves you, Nathan. He's always, anytime we talk about Raiders fans, he always mentions Nabman. He always mentions Ron. But he always mentions when we were together in North Carolina. It's crazy. That's a year and a half ago. We were there with you and your dad at Topgolf. He always brings up your dad and you. So, like you said, subscribing makes you a smarter fan. I normally know quite a bit, but good job on listing the games earlier. That will help strengthen the schedule to help the number one pick. Again, I hope when people hear me say you will become a smarter Raiders fan by watching the show, it's not me saying that I'm smarter than you. It's like you're just like the number one objective that I have from this program is, imagine you're hanging out with a group of friends. And I want you to be that person in that friend group that you'll be like, well, actually, the Raiders can lose. The Raiders can beat the Chiefs. The Giants can lose to the New York Jets. And if 3 out of these 4 things happen, 49ers end up beating the Seahawks. If the Bengals end up beating the Browns, if the Saints end up beating the Falcons, or if the Lions end up beating the Bears, if 3 out of those 4 things end up happening, the Raiders can still have the number 1 overall pick. My job is to do the research. My job, we have a saying here at Chat Sports, inform and entertain. I think sometimes I'm a better entertainer than I am an informer. I'm not going to lie to y'all, but I also know that I can keep you guys up to date on all things going on around the Raiders. And if what I just said there you didn't know, yeah, the Raiders can beat the Chiefs. The Giants can lose. We can finish with the exact same damn record. And if 3 out of these 4 things happen, Raiders still have the number 1 overall pick. We can't drop anything lower than 2. Though I'm not going to lie to you, I'm really kicking myself in the ass that I wasn't live last night for that Rams and Falcons game. I didn't know that a Falcons win solidified it. I knew it impacted it. I didn't realize it solidified it. So that's on me. But if you subscribe to this show for math, I don't know.
Bayou, yeah, that UH LSU game, my brother was actually at that game. Hopefully some brighter days ahead for LSU. Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I would say LSU is probably one of my new favorite teams, but that's only because my wife Alex she's a Texas fan. Texas is her number 1 team. Her number 2 team's LSU because one of her girlfriends used to be a cheerleader there.
Call me crazy,
but Chuck has an LSU scarf.
If I'm the Raiders, you take Mendoza at 1. I would do what Washington did years ago. If Garrett Nussmeier is there in the 6th round, just throw a dart at the board and take an extra rookie quarterback.
He's talented. You can't deny it.
I'm higher on Nussmeier than a lot of other people are. I think he, that just whole thing in LSU kind of fell from the bottom. But I wouldn't hate taking a chance on him in the 6th or 7th round.
See, to me, if you were to get a guy like Nussmeier, if you had a head coach, or maybe not head coach, you had an offensive coordinator like Brian Dable, to me that makes sense. That makes a little bit more sense because Dable has been able to work with somebody that was extremely raw. Nussmeier has a ceiling. You can't deny that he doesn't have a ceiling, but he's just such a bad quarterback right now. He's a bad quarterback right now for the NFL. For the NFL, he's a bad quarterback. He's got tools. Can't deny the tools. Bad QB, though. Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Yo, Minter was my homie's D2 defensive coordinator in college, Indiana State. Yeah, he coached at Indiana State. I want to say he was a linebackers coach from 2009 to 2011, if my memory serves me correct. Says he's a cool dude, knows both sides of the ball very well. I'm on board. I mean, if your buddy, I'd be curious, like, if your buddy could hook it up with Minter, I would love that. I'll have the opportunity if he's hired in May to meet everyone. I'll be at the Raiders Gala, so we'll be able to do some cool stuff while we're there. But, man, oh, man. I haven't heard anything bad about Minter. And when you come from good coaching trees, you work your way up the right way. When you've been around smart organizations, the way that Minter's been, again, he's been around the Ravens. He's been around Michigan. He's been around Harbaugh's. He's been around right now a very winning Chargers team. When you see stuff like that, that's a guy you want to go grab. You get a guy like that, you get somebody from a Sean McVay tree. There's a reason why there's just certain guys that come from certain trees that are good. It's because they learn how to be a good head coach. Sometimes it's a learning curve. What's up, Daniel? Next head coach should be an offensive guy to maximize Genty, Bowers, and whichever quarterback we take in the draft. To me, it's not a bad idea. Like the top two offensive-minded head coaches that I personally would want, number one, Clint Kubiak. Number two, Mike LaFleur. And I know he doesn't call plays. with the Rams. I've seen so many good offensive coordinators come from Sean McVay and be really good elsewhere. So I'll take LaFleur. Bring him on in. Would love to be able to have that. Arbora, Mitch. Who would be some coordinator candidates for the opposing specialty of some of the head coaching candidates? If we hire a DC to be our head coach, who would be the OC? See, unfortunately, Arbora, and I appreciate this question. I really do. Also, look at your Slack when you get a chance. I do. I just think that this is such a hard question to answer because it really comes down to who that head coach is going to be. Like, if you were to say, Mitch, all right, we hire Clint Kubiak. Who's Clint Kubiak going to bring in? The first thing I would do is I would look at who's the quarterback coach in Seattle. I would look at Kubiak's coaching trees, and I would say, all right, maybe there's somebody we can bring in from a Shanahan tree. If we go out and we get a guy like Minter, I would go around and I would look around, all right, who's worked with Minter? Who's been somebody that's been, success? Maybe you bring in the quarterback coach from the Chargers. Like, what's sad, and it's just the truth, I don't know like Brian Flores. The reason why I mentioned Josh McCown is because that's somebody who's quarterback coach in Minnesota. I think that makes a logical choice to bring him in. It's just, it really comes down to who you bring in as a head coach, I think is what dictates defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator.
I do wonder, Jesse Minter, who would he choose to be the OC? Because that would be a big decision, and I don't see him taking the Chargers OC because he calls plays for the Chargers. So I don't think he jumps ship on that to come over to the Raiders. Maybe other Michigan ties, other guys that he's worked with in the past. Maybe you get Dable. Maybe you get.
Again, like, to me, it is truly, truly up in the air. But what's so hard to do is to be like, all right, if this guy's here, you got to look at the trees. You got to look at the relationship, because that is truly a lot of the times how it ends up going down. It's not like this guy comes in here and then we're just going to pick that guy out from over there. It's usually you bring in your guys, and whoever the next head coach of the Raiders is going to be, he's going to bring in his head guy. Like, because the Raiders' job isn't the most sexy job, let's be real, even with the number one overall pick, even with everything that we have, I can understand a head coach being hesitant. So if I'm that next head coach that's going to get this gig, I want to be able to bring in my guys. I'm not saying you're going to be the only one calling the shots. That literally can't happen. It's been a disaster with Pete, McDaniels, all those guys, but they're going to want to bring in their dudes. What's up, Money? Happy B-Day, Chugs. Mitch, do you agree trading Maxx? Is it something I don't know?
Appreciate it, Money.
Chuck. My dog, Chuck. Chugs' birthday is in September. I can't ever remember the exact day, but it's right around his wife's
Raider
birthday.
Trades sent me a happy birthday super chat, and he just retracted his message. So.
My dog's name is Chuck. I can understand that Chuck and Chugs maybe sounds alike. Do you agree trading Maxx?
It's almost my quarter birthday, though.
Yeah. A quarter chug. Mm-hmm. Do I agree on trading Maxx? I don't want to trade Maxx, but if Maxx isn't going to buy into what this team's doing in the future, then yeah, you can move on from him. And this offseason is probably one of the easiest off seasons that you can move on from him, because if you are going to truly do a rebuild, the number one player to do a full rebuild with is moving on from Maxx. And again, I don't think anybody wants to move on from Maxx, but nobody's above the shield to me. And if Maxx looks at us and he's like, I'm really upset about you guys shutting me down. I understand you getting upset. You deserve to be upset. You can be upset. But if also at the same time you can't see that the Raiders shutting down Maxx Crosby is the best long-term thing for the Raiders, and honestly for Maxx, shame on Maxx. I mean, again, I know the Raiders haven't won a lot, but the Raiders have always done right by Crosby. They've always made Maxx the top priority, even when you haven't had a quarterback. So, yeah. Bono! Look alike. I've walked a lady down the aisle, and ring bearer witness. She was from Texas. He was from Utah. At the Little White Chapel in Vegas. So Vegas is fun with me. Thank you for coaching update. Happy birthday, Chubbs.
Thank you.
This makes me think, I think of a Little White Chapel. Can you guess what movie I'm thinking of? Little White Chapel.
Hangover?
It's a circle.
Yeah.
No corner like triangle. Though, you know who Bono would probably really get along with? Eric
Tillotson.
Bang! From Bono! From the top rope! Another 100 raffle tickets to Tillotson. I'll tell you this, Tillotson's got himself lots and lots and lotson.
He's got a Lotson.
Somebody said Hangover 2 from Bayou. One of my favorite movies of all time, if you've never seen it, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. It is hilarious. You got to watch it, though, with, some good friends. You watch it with some good friends, you appreciate it. I think you could appreciate the movie for what it is. It's a really, really good movie. Coming up, final segment here on today's show. It's going to be around Lamar Jackson. And based on the first hour of today's program, I think you guys are really going to like what we have cooked up here. I'm also going to tell you what my personal goal is for the year 2026. It's a lofty goal. I'm going to be very honest. It's a very, very lofty goal. But if we were able to do this, I think it would be really, really, really freaking sick. Coming up here on the program, we are going to get into a fun little segment here around Lamar. As soon as that is over, we will do a duck race. We will spin a wheel for a chance to win a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. And then we're going to hop on out here. Though, to all of y'all that have been going wild, I want to say this again. Whoever finishes being the Bang MVP for the month of December, looks like it's going to be Venthrak unless some absolutely crazy shit ends up going down. Venthrak, I'm pretty sure I have it, but as always, if you could send me your shipping details, we're going to send you a little Raiders Report swag, if that's cool with you. You ready to get this thing rocking? Y'all ready to get this thing rocking? Coming up, we're going to talk about a Lamar Jackson segment, and then also on top of that, if you didn't see my video I did earlier today, I'm actually going to introduce you to a new sponsor. A new sponsor that my dad couldn't believe that we got. He was super fired up about it. He was actually talking to me about it 2 days before, and then it was funny. We had a meeting here at Chat Sports, and I was like, dude, we just got this new sponsor. Said the name, and he was like, no freaking way, man. If Richie's fired up about it, and if Richie knows how to do it, I promise you this, you're going to know how to do it as well. All right, coming up, let's talk about Lamar Jackson here on the Raiders Report. My 2026 goal, I know it's big, I know it's lofty, but I want to pass the official Raiders YouTube channel. I want to be the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube, and I take a lot of pride in what I do. And I don't mean this lightly. I think we run laps around the official channel. So to help grow our family, to help grow this community, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's pass the Raiders. Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, the Silver and Black trading for Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson this offseason isn't impossible. Quite frankly, I actually think it's something that the Raiders need to entertain the idea, because if it was up to me, you're either looking at Fernando Mendoza or you're looking at Lamar Jackson. And if you have the number 1 overall pick, I think either of those two options better be freaking possible. If you're talking to me and you're going, Mitch, why the hell are we talking about Lamar? And probably you're not following along what's going on in the NFL right now, because you know I like that saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke right now around the Baltimore Ravens potentially moving on from their star quarterback, because the Ravens, they're in a rock and a hard place right now. There are tons and tons of rumors around Baltimore moving on from Lamar. The other day I heard John Harbaugh sitting up there at the podium, and he was asked about his relationship with Lamar. And he said, we're doing great right now. I asked our Ravens host, Joey, and I go, do you buy into this? And he goes, no, they're right now not getting along at all. The other reason why I'm talking about it, it's because when the Raiders get linked to somebody like Jackson, I'm going to discuss it here on this show. I love a good rumor, but I also love rumors because it's a little bit of a puzzle. And when you see it, this program, and when you get done watching today's show, I'm actually pretty confident you're going to sit up here and go, yeah, there's a chance the Raiders could trade for Lamar Jackson. Here is a statement that was made over the weekend, and I had a bunch of people send this to me. Please forgive me, I did not make a show on this because I was trying to enjoy my holiday with my wife and her family. But the Ravens should look at possible trades, which could net them 2 or 3 first-round picks. Jackson would love to play in Miami. It's where he grew up, where quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is no longer the starter, or possibly Las Vegas, where Brady, a partial owner of the Raiders, has shown a fondness for him. Baltimore should also draft a young quarterback in the early round. So this is from one of the top insiders. It's basically The Athletic for the Baltimore Ravens, and this is one of their top guys out there. So if he's putting this out there, it's because he's hearing some rumors around it. What I love about this show is you get to make the call. I always want to be able to give you a voice. That's why you should subscribe to the Raiders Report. It's why I want to pass the official Raiders YouTube channel. We're going to give you a voice here. They won't. Trade or pass. Should the Raiders trade for Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson? My answer is coming up here after this YouTube ad break. If you're the Raiders, you got to think about it. With all due respect to the nation out there, if you're a Raiders fan and you say, no, I'm not interested in Lamar Jackson, that just absolutely blows my mind. He would be right now the greatest Raiders quarterback that this organization has ever had. No disrespect to DC, Darryl LaMonica, Ken Stabler, Brian Flores, Rich Gannon. No disrespect to those guys. Tom Flores, excuse me. He would be the greatest Raiders quarterback of all time. The reason why I'm not saying you got to do it, it's because whoever you decide to bring in as your head coach, that head coach better say, my quarterback plan is either A, draft Fernando Mendoza, or B, I'm going to go out and I'm going to trade for Lamar Jackson. And if you decide to trade for Lamar, you take that number 1 pick, you trade back, and you do everything in your power to build around Jackson, because he's an incredible talent. You know it. I know he's an incredible talent. He's a 2-time NFL MVP. And I know I'm screaming and yelling a lot here, but I mean it when I say it. You don't get second opportunities like this. We had an opportunity to go get him in 2023. What did he do the following year? Went out one of the NFL MVP. What did he do the year after that? Threw for 41 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson is an alien. Lamar Jackson is the top 5 NFL talent. And if you have the opportunity for him, you go out and you try to get that guy. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you, and there's a lot of reasons why I would go out and trade for Jackson. Before I do that, a quick word from our sponsor, Polymarket. It's time to challenge the status quo. Polymarket is now live to help you do so. You can be part of the revolutionary alternative to Sportsbook with our special invite code. Download Polymarket's new app now via the link in the description and comments to unlock exclusive early access and a free $10 in your account with the invite code chat. Polymarket is a prediction marketplace and lets you make trades on the outcomes of sporting events. As you can see right over here on screen, you can even buy and sell within a game with live trading. Polymarket has the lowest fees ever. You can trade against other people, not the platform. You can cash out anytime and react to momentum swings within the game. you are in control. It's legal and available nationwide in all 50 states on their iOS app now. For this week's Raiders game, Polymarket is giving Las Vegas a 30% chance to win. That makes sense. The Raiders have lost 10 straight games and currently have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. $10 free is waiting for you. No card, no deposit, nothing. Download the app with our exclusive code CHAT at chatsports.com/polymarket for exclusive early access and $10 free. Let's talk about why the Raiders could trade for Lamar Jackson. And while I was looking and I saw a lot of y'all saying I want a young quarterback, Lamar Jackson, y'all, makes this team an instant contender. An instant contender, and he's only 28 years old. For anybody out there that says Lamar Jackson's too old, 28 years old is literally the prime of his career, and he's got many, many years ahead of him. And if I don't know how you don't think that. But going out and getting Jackson makes the silver and black an instant contender. And I mean that. Like, I think if you add Lamar Jackson on this current Raiders team, you are an 8 to 9 win team. You're fighting for a potential playoff spot. But to me, you don't get many players that grow on trees that are like Jackson, that you enter them on your team, a 2-time NFL MVP in 2019 and 2024, like a run-first offense with Jackson, with Ashton Genty, with Brock Bowers. It could really, truly make this team elite, on top of the fact that you're going to be able to go out and invest in your offensive line this offseason. That is a recipe for success. It is a defensive coordinator's nightmare to pair Lamar Jackson, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Genty. If you don't get a little bit of a tingle from that, again, check your pulse. Look at these numbers. If you're going to tell me Lamar can't throw the football, dude just threw for 41 touchdowns last season and over 4,000 yards. Dude threw for 36 touchdowns his second year in the NFL. But obviously, it's not only what he's able to do as a passer, it's also what he's able to do with his legs. I mean, you're looking at the quarterback that has rushed for more yards in his career than any quarterback alive. There are only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history with over 6,000 rushing yards, Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick. Lamar is the greatest, most athletic quarterback that I think that the NFL has ever seen. He is a Ferrari. Has he had some injuries? Sure. But you know who's had more injuries than Lamar Jackson over the past 3 years? Maxx Crosby. And if we're going to sit up here and talk about XYZ, Lamar Jackson makes this team unbelievable. Now, here is a little bit of a rough sketch. A rough sketch of a team that I actually think the Silver and Black could put together in one offseason. You could have Colt Miller at your left tackle. He's under your roster. Jackson Powers-Johnson, put him at left guard. The top interior offensive lineman on the open market is Tyler Linderbaum, which, that's funny. He's actually been playing with Lamar Jackson over the past few seasons in Baltimore. You got enough money to go out and get a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker. Or if you want to go cheaper, you can put Caleb Rogers there. Right tackle Charles Grant. I've watched Charles Grant eat people alive. The fact that this coaching staff still playing Stone Forsythe over him is the epitome of why Pete Carroll needs to hang it up. But you look at that offensive line with Lamar Jackson, with a running back like Ashton Genty, 2 good enough receivers in Trey Tucker and Jack Besh, and then 2 tight end sets, a little 12 personnel with Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. This is a top 10 offense in the NFL. It might even be top 5 with Lamar Jackson. Let's go to the next reason why the Raiders could do it. Tom Brady loves him. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Tom Brady loves him. And if you think that that's a crazy statement, he's Lamar freaking Jackson. If you're an NFL head coach, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, former quarterback, NFL owner, and you're not infatuated with Lamar, I actually really don't want you making decisions for my football team. But the fact that Brady has shown interest in him before, the fact that Brady was mentioned by name in the report from The Athletic, that means a lot. Lamar was also linked to the Raiders back in 2023. But because we had just an idiot at head coach in Josh McDaniels, and he was so ho-hum on frickin' Jimmy Garoppolo, we didn't do anything at the quarterback position. The other reason why I think Lamar is very interesting is, again, I'm not sitting up here saying the Raiders are going to hire Jesse Minter, but Jesse Minter has been the number 1 name that my sources have told me about. So if my sources are telling me Minter, and Minter has worked with Lamar and already has a relationship with Lamar from that Harbaugh tree, and Harbaugh matters to Mark Davis, we have to be able to sit back here and go, yeah, that is really important. And yeah, that does matter. Now, people are always going to tell me, oh, he hasn't got it done in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson has also had to deal with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. That's a really tough slate on top of the fact of a guy like Josh Allen. Let's go to the next reason here why the Raiders could go out and trade for Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Discount. I'm somebody that loves a discount. You tell me I get free, I'm all about it. Obviously, I'm not saying Lamar Jackson's going to be free, but I do think you're going to have an opportunity to get Lamar at a discounted rate. Here's what The Athletic had to say on Lamar's relationship with Baltimore. Coach John Harbaugh's 18th season with Baltimore could be with his 13th in a row without a Super Bowl appearance. Despite having Jackson, a two-time MVP, in his prime for the last 7, that clock is ticking, much as it was for his mentor, Andy Reid in Philadelphia a dozen years ago. As for Jackson, he's under contract through 2027. But a prominent NFL agent said Sunday what more people are thinking. The biggest story of the offseason is going to be Lamar. That is going to be crazy. When agents start throwing out talk like that, where there's smoke, there's fire, and an agent doing that, he's trying to drum up interest in his client. He's trying to drum up interest in Lamar Jackson, and there's going to be a lot of interest in Lamar. But the other reason why I think it could be a discounted trade, if the Ravens, Harbaugh, and Lamar are not getting along, that lowers the price a little bit. I don't know how much it lowers the price, but let's say a very happy Lamar Jackson on the Baltimore Ravens, you want to trade for him? I think you're looking at 4 or 5 first-round picks, man. It's like so much that it's like, how much does a unicorn cost? I don't know how much a unicorn costs. Lamar Jackson is a unicorn, and if he's not happy and they know that they're not happy in that situation, the price tag goes down. Also, not many NFL teams can afford Lamar's contract. He is a salary cap hit. It's a big number, $74.5 million in 2026 and 2027. But I want to also be very clear. The reason why Maxx Crosby did his contract the way that he did it, he front-loaded it, made it a lot more flexible over the back half of the season, is so the Raiders could go out and make more deals like this. If you're the Raiders and you make this trade for Lamar Jackson, you instantly give him a 3-year extension, 5-year contract, lower that salary cap and set from 74.5, you divvy it out a little bit over the back half, and you also got to remember, there's going to be a giant TV deal that goes down in the NFL in 2028. And quarterbacks at that time, they're going to be making $74.5 million. I guarantee it. I also talked to our Ravens host here at Chat Sports, and I said, what do you think it ends up costing? He told me 2 to 3 first-round picks. If it's 2 to 3 first-round picks, right flipping now, not many teams have this money. Not many teams are going to have the ability to go out and trade for the Raiders. And again, if you make this deal, you're trading away the number 1 pick. You're trading back to get more draft capital. So we have the free agency money. We have the draft capital to be able to do it. And if you hire a brand new head coach, maybe he wants to make a splash. A splash sounds like Lamar Jackson or Fernando Mendoza. Seems like a great place to be if I'm a Raider fan. Let's go to the next reason here. Your resources are there. You have the resources to make the deal. You got 10 total draft picks, including, as I make this video, the number 1 overall pick. I'll admit, if you got pick number 2, I don't know how realistic it is to be able to get Jackson. But the Raiders have $105 million in salary cap, second most in the NFL. That number is going to go up this offseason. Also, 2027 salary cap, $173.8 million, top 3. The Raiders are the only team in the NFL, top 3 salary cap the next 2 seasons. We have the resources if we wanted to take on Lamar. The final reason, and I think out of all the reasons, this might be the smallest, but it does matter. Maxx Crosby wants to win, and he wants to win right now. And I know that nobody is above the shield, but Mark Davis listens to Maxx. He's listened to Maxx before when it comes to hiring a guy like Antonio Pierce. And if this organization is actually worried, because the video that I put out last Friday, I was told by a really damn good source that, yeah, a Maxx Crosby trade could happen. And it could happen this offseason. And if Maxx wants to win right flipping now, go out and get Lamar Jackson. Maxx, I'll tell you this, you put Lamar on this team, you keep Maxx on that defensive side of the football, you're going to be able to cook it up a little bit. Lamar makes you that instant contender. So if it makes Maxx Crosby happy, and the other reason why I do say this matters, you got people like the Raiders putting out statements that Maxx, hey, man, we want you for the long term. They didn't do that with some other guys. There was Amy Trask the other day put out a statement that she doesn't think that the Raiders are going to end up moving on from Maxx. And I'm not saying that Amy doesn't have sources. She obviously has sources. But when certain people say certain things, it's because I wonder if they're being told to say those certain things. And Maxx is the little bit of a cherry on top. But I guarantee you this right now, if you looked at this brand new head coach, whoever the hell it is, and they go, hey, are you down with Lamar Jackson? They're going to say yes. If Maxx Crosby goes, hey, are you okay with Lamar Jackson being the next quarterback of the Raiders? Guaranteed he says yes. So when you add all of these reasons up, I think it equals that there is a chance that we get Lamar. I'm not saying it's the top priority. I'm not saying it's the number one thing that's going to happen. What I am saying, though, is if you're the Raiders and you're picking between Fernando Mendoza or Lamar Jackson and trading that number one pick and you're trading the back to get more assets, that's a really, really good situation to be in. And I know Lamar is old for some people out there. He's 28 years old. It's a lot of money, but you got the money to do it. With how the past few years have gone, being an instant contender, I pray that we have playoff struggles. I pray that we are a bad playoff team. Lamar Jackson not only makes you an instant playoff contender, he makes you a Super Bowl contender that any head coach on this planet would love the opportunity to go out and get. Trading for Lamar Jackson helps you get the best head coach possible. That's what the Las Vegas Raiders need, a quarterback and a head coach. That's a winning formula. Before I get out of here, though, today's show, if you don't already know, we're doing a lot of mixing and matching here, but we are talking about college football right now because I'm going to be live on Thursday. I'm coming in on my off day. Reed's coming in on his off day, and we want to be able to talk about Fernando Mendoza, and we're going to be live for this game. So, yeah, doesn't really have too much to deal with Lamar, but anytime I go live, I want y'all to be able to be here, pulling up, having a good time. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. I'm going to be going live 30 minutes before kickoff to watch Mendoza. Let's go to some Super Chats here on the program. Friendly reminder, we are going to answer Supers. Then we're going to do a duck race to give away some money. Then we're going to give away a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. If you're like, wait a minute, a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. Final chances to get your final raffle tickets in. I love Brian Flores for head coach. I know I freaking got Flores on my mind. I said it during that show. But who might he bring in as his OC? My top guess would be Josh McCown. Quarterback coach in Minnesota, comes from the Sean McVay tree with Kevin O'Connell. That would be my honest guess. Could change, might not change. I don't know, but that's going to be my gut feeling. John Rodriguez, what up, John? Scenario 1, we take Jets Hall. 3, and another team offers Giants another haul, take more. Who do we take? If we're picking at if we're taking 3, like if we trade back with the New York Jets, I want the Jets first round pick next year. To me, that's like if we don't have Lamar Jackson, right, and we're still looking for a quarterback, I would say the most important draft pick that you could possibly give me from the New York Jets is their first round pick next season. Because that means they traded up for Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza on the New York Jets. I'll roll the dice on that, and I think that that's going to be another top pick potentially next year, and I know the Raiders are already looking at a guy like C.J. Carr. But to me, if we trade back with the Jets, they got 5 first-round picks. I want a minimum of 3 first-round picks, and then I'd want another 2 second-round picks, like pick 34. Give me that. Maybe give me like pick 46 in the middle. But if we do something like that, you better, and I mean you better add a lot of defensive talent. If I'm sitting at 3, I'm looking at Reuben Bain. I'm looking at Arvell Reese. That's how I would look at it. Sir Chai, wide receiver Cornell Tate, defensive tackle Peter Woods are tempting. I mean, Woods at Clemson is a hell of a defensive tackle. Cornell Tate, another really good wide receiver from Ohio State. Though I'm starting to watch a little bit of tape. The kid from Arizona State's really, really good. I think he might be the number 1 wide receiver in this year's class, though. Ohio State's been able to shit out great wide receiver talent year after year after year. It's not that I don't think that those players are good, but at the same time, if you add a wide receiver and your offensive line isn't fixed and you're not winning the trenches, doesn't really matter. Defensive tackle, I mean, honestly, I think Tate's the better prospect, but Woods is the bigger need overall to me because I want to be able to build our trenches a little bit more. The other area here with Tate is not saying we don't need a wide receiver. We do. But I do think that with the players that we have, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Jack Besh, and then Trey Tucker, that's 5 really talented players that you can get by with. if you're this high in the draft, you got to look at some other players personally on the defensive side of the football. But you're not really going to be in the range, if I'm being honest, because I think Tate goes somewhere between, let's say, like 7 and 25, and I'd say the same thing for Peter Woods. I don't think we're going to be in that 7 to 25 range unless we trade back. What up, Miguel? Of course, you want an injury-prone quarterback. Again, how many games, Miguel, do you think Lamar Jackson has missed over the past few years? Who's more injury-prone, Maxx Crosby or Lamar Jackson? I'll tell you, it's Maxx Crosby.
And everybody in the chat.
Lamar's missed 5 games the past 3 years.
Everybody in the chat was, oh, no Lamar Jackson, but I'd love Joe Burrow.
That's insanity.
Joe Burrow is 1,000 times more injury-prone.
Lamar Jackson has missed 5 games the past 3 years. 5 games the past 3 years. How does that make him injury-prone? I get he's got some injuries right now. I got you. The last time Lamar Jackson played 12 games, the next year he came out, he won the NFL MVP. The year after that, he ended up throwing for 41 touchdowns. I actually think it's hilarious, Miguel, and I don't recognize this photo, so I hope that you're not discouraged from what I'm about to say. But the reason why I want people to watch the Raiders Report is because calling Lamar Jackson an injury-prone quarterback, I think it's a cop-out. I think it's a cop-out. Guys get injured in the NFL. It happens. But to say he's injury-prone when he's missed 5 games the past 3 years, again, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of quarterbacks that get injured. Is Patrick Mahomes an injury-prone quarterback now because he just tore his ACL? I don't know. I think people who don't honestly watch a lot of football, and we always you don't know ball. I'm not saying you don't know ball, but I think people who don't know ball say he's an injury-prone quarterback.
And I do see somebody in the chat saying, you're making up source. We literally showed you the source. We gave you the guy who
from the
reported that story.
The Baltimore Sun from The Athletic.
Yeah.
The Athletic is, again, The Athletic. I mean, that's like if somebody from The Athletic from the Raiders were to do it. And an organization like Baltimore, they don't have as much turnover as the Raiders do. Those guys are actually connected.
It's not like Mitch is just saying, you know what, I like Lamar Jackson, so I'm just going to talk about it.
I mean, if the Baltimore Athletic said that Lamar to Las Vegas is possible, I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Even if a rumor were to pop up like, hey, Lamar Jackson's not happy, I would talk about it because we need a quarterback, and he's Lamar Jackson.
What they teach you in journalism school, guys.
Yes,
sources.
Yes.
Sauces. And we cited the source. We told y'all who it came from.
Yep.
That's how it works. So DK Metcalf and Stephon Diggs walk into a bar. Yikes. I mean, I don't think it's even fair to equate the DK Metcalf situation with what's going on with Diggs. Also, we don't have all the information on Diggs, so
correct.
Innocent until proven guilty in that aspect. But, I mean, this is these are two insanely different situations.
Yeah. Very, very, very different. Also, y'all, final chance for you to get in the duck race here. Reminder, it's a $20 Venmo. Mitchell Renz, 365. Bono, I got you in. Martin Martinez, I got you in. Greg Vack, I got you in. So right now it's a $20 Venmo. You got a chance to win. $150. Oh my God, here on the Raiders Report. I'm so sorry.
Sir Chai, Mitch, have you made a second? No, we have not done a full mock.
I will do a mock draft once the offseason hits and once we have all of our picks, kind of decided.
Mark Torres, Lamar was a play away from beating Josh Allen. If Mark Andrews doesn't drop a 2-point conversion, the Ravens probably are not – I'm not going to say probably. The Ravens have a good shot to beat the Bills last year. It came down to Mark Andrews literally dropping the ball in the end zone.
And, again, I get people want to go with certain narratives, and I'll admit Lamar always hasn't been the best in the playoffs. But, I think Lamar is also right now dealing with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, unbelievably talented people in the AFC. It reminds me of, there was a long stretch where, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Joe Flacco, I think, are the only quarterbacks to appear in a Super Bowl from it's like a 15-year stretch. I mean, this past year, it's the first time in 27 years that Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes aren't in the playoffs. Like, there's just certain guys and again, Lamar needs to play better. He'd be the first one to tell you that. But that drop touchdown by Mark Andrews, I mean, you can't put that on Lamar. There's certain things. This idea, I love everything besides 2. I think 2 would be I think signing Brandon Ayuk is probably one of the dumbest things you could possibly do as an organization. You know, why would I want somebody that's literally done absolutely nothing for the 49ers besides be an absolute headache, cancer to that team? You can't spend money at wide receiver.
The Raiders have never signed or traded for a Devo receiver, though.
I think the worst thing the Raiders could possibly do is spend $20 million plus on a wide receiver this offseason. If you were to ask me what do I think might be the dumbest thing the Raiders could do is go out and get a Pickens or Brandon Ayuk. That's a disaster. Everything else here, there, absolutely I'm on board. No, man! Better get me some tickets. Alley-oop, the talk of Lamar and or Mendoza is interesting. However, until we know our draft pick position and who our coaches will be, it's pure speculation. But I love all the options available to us. And you're right, it is pure speculation. And that's what that's what this show is a lot of times. It's talking about Lamar Jackson of the Raiders. And I know this might not be everyone's cup of tea, but here's the thing. It's a free show. You don't got to watch the show. I appreciate, you getting your opinions in. I don't need people to always agree with me. I like the disagreement. But I also want people to understand the idea behind this show is me and my family, we grew up my entire life talking, debating sports. Mainly it was fantasy football. Literally a fantasy. And Lamar Jackson seems like a fantasy to the Raiders. But
no way the Raiders would ever trade for Devontae Adams.
Yeah, man. But I agree with you, Nav. To me, I think certain topics are interesting. We're going to talk about it. It's content. It is content. But it's also, I don't just throw shit out there just to throw shit out there. If The Athletic links the Raiders and Lamar Jackson together, that to me is an avenue of enough to, all right, let's sit down here and let's talk about it. So just want to be clear there. I see a lot more people getting it in for this duck race. Can you look at the Slack I just sent you? Because Nabman threw it up. Nabman threw it up there. And this freaking guy's going to throw it down.
Bono!
Bang! From Nabman. Let's go. Let's go. D, need a high Q quarterback. Lamar, not him. Why isn't Lamar Jackson not a high Q quarterback? Tell me. Because the only reason why I think you're saying that is unfortunately a really bad reason. Because Lamar Jackson has won a Heisman. Lamar Jackson is actually regarded as one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL. There's a lot of people that when they look at Lamar Jackson tape, they're like, this guy clearly is a extremely intelligent quarterback. He's also an alien. But I think the only reason why you're saying that is for a really unfortunate reason. I'm not going to say it, but I think you know why you're saying it. Because that's the only reason why you possibly would say it. That's sad, man. Let's be better. Let's do better. LA, what up, fam? SaveAWarrior.org for veterans and first responders struggling. Shout out Semper Fi, Raider Nation for life. And if anybody out there, go to SaveAWarrior.org/donate. Make sure you tell them Father Tom sent you. Make sure you tell them Father Tom sent you.
Hell yeah, J. Ray.
I just saw that J. Ray.
Chugging a Mountain Dew Zero, celebrating the Coloma Varsity Comets. Boys team win over Eclair, 53. I feel like I know more about this small-town basketball team than I should.
I'll say this one. It would be so much fun to do like.
J. Ray sends me updates all the time.
Yeah.
He's just like, dude, 163 to 54 last night. Huge win.
Yeah, could you imagine? I've always had this dream. I know somebody who is extremely wealthy, right? I'll just be honest with you. There's somebody in my life that is extremely wealthy. And I've always wondered if they were like, hey, I'll pay you X amount of dollars to cover like my son's high school team. Would you do it? Like if some guy was like, hey, I'll give you $10 million. A lot of money. If you were to cover like my son's high school team, or for you to cover like this college team that I follow, because he's big for this one college. Bro, I would do it, man.
High school sports rumors would go crazy.
Oh my goodness.
According to multiple sources, John failed his chemistry test and will not be available for tonight's game.
Jimmy was dumped at recess, and now he's questionable for Thursday night. I mean, it would be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable.
All right, so we're going to do the duck race first?
Yeah, let's do the duck race first. $20 Venmo right now for a chance to win $170 here on the Raiders Report. Coming up, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. I love a good duck race, man. A good duck race gets the momentum going here. A good duck race gets the momentum going. Which, it's crazy that we got 600 people here in the building. Also, I don't know if Raider Ron's here. Ron, and to anybody that's a part of Mount Raider More, anybody that's watching the show that's near San Francisco, we have asked our bosses about doing a potential meetup during the Super Bowl. I don't know if it'll actually be at the Super Bowl. It'll just be out there. It might even be up to what Ron wants to do. They are talking amongst themselves, and they'll give us an answer on whether or not we can do a Raiders meetup. So, Ron, you're the loudest voice here on this show, and if you want it, I'm sure we can figure out a way to make it happen. So, all right, final refresh. All right, nobody else is in. Here we go. This duck race, winner's going to go home with $170. Would anybody show up to our meetup in San Francisco? San Fran, though I've heard people don't like when you call it that. It'd probably be February 7th or February 6th, because I think that's Saturday or Friday or Saturday, because Chugs and I will be here for Super Bowl in the studio. What up, Peter? Mitch, I'm in Las Vegas today for the first time ever. How close can I get to the Raider Stadium, and can I access the inside? Help a fellow Raider, please. I mean, you can literally walk in the stadium. You can go to the Raider Image store.
Yeah, that's literally underneath.
So that's underneath the stadium. And then if you want to do a tour, you probably should go online and look to see if you can do a tour, depending on which one you want to do. Whatever the most expensive tour is, do that one. In all honesty, it's the best one. You also get drinks at the end of it. But if you go to Raider Image store, you can go to the stadium. You can get in. Again, you're right underneath. But if I were to do it, if you're only there for today, I would look up to see how much a tour is to be able to do. And then two birds, one stone, go get yourself some stuff at the Raider store. And then, go to the tour. That's how I would do it. All right, y'all. Let's run it. Let's run it. Let's run it.
Here we go.
So, Gabriel, can you add, you guys are just late, Rustin Long, and then give me 2 GRs. GR. Cool. Winner's going to go home now. 200 doll hairs. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
LA Crash Dog says the tour ends in the Raider Image store now.
Oh, does it? Smart.
You took the tour whenever it was still Gruden, though.
Yeah, it was electric. They had this John Gruden hologram. Honestly, it hyped me up. Maybe I want to run through a freaking wall.
Jay Ray says, Chugs just trying to put Coloma, Michigan on the map for positive reasons. Not many people know where Coloma, Michigan is. Is Coloma, Michigan in the which half of Michigan? Is it in the top half that's connected to Canada, or the bottom half?
I'm so bad with geography, so I have no idea. Husker! Come on, Husker. Martin Martinez in a very interesting spot. Who's this down here? Is Phillip going to come away with a win? I think he is! Phillip Bogert! With the win. Dude, I'll tell you this. Phillip's been
Coloma's
a literal lucky duck over the past few weeks.
on the
No, he runs.
Coloma's on the lake where
I think Phillip's in every race that we do. So congrats to Phillip, man.
Okay. I see Coloma is like on the lake on the west side of Michigan, where it's on the same lake that Milwaukee and Chicago's on. So right next to the water, one of the Great Lakes. Okay.
Phillip, if you could please confirm that you just received
when I'm back
$200. I think
is
that sweet thanks you confirming? I think it is. I think it is. Do you want to hear the craziest stat? I actually wanted to say this today in a show, but I forgot to. The longest active streak, okay, for the NFL. Can you guess which NFL team has the longest active streak without scoring 30 points in a game?
Is it the Raiders?
It's the Raiders, okay? So let me just say this. The second team, okay, longest active streak without scoring 20 points. The Chiefs actually 9 straight games, tied for 5th. Browns 9 straight games, tied for 5th. Falcons 11 straight games. Commanders 13 straight games. The Cardinals 16 straight games. Cardinals are number 2. Raiders are number 1.
Oh.
Can you guess how many games in a row the Raiders haven't scored 30 points?
The Raiders haven't scored 30 points?
So second place is the Cardinals with 16.
Oh.
I actually know what game they scored 30.
I'm going to go with 28.
36 games.
Oh, my gosh.
And if my math is doing it right in my head, the last time they would have scored 30 was the game after they fired. No. It's the game after they fired Josh McDaniels. Because then that would have been the 30-point game. It was Raiders up against. Oh, you might be right. Was it Chargers?
I thought it was that.
They dropped 63. The game, honestly, I thought was like when they won 30-6 against. There was like the Giants. It was right after they fired McDaniels. It honestly might be the Chargers game.
I think it's the Chargers.
Is that the same year? Has to be.
The Chargers is the one right after they lost 3-0
to the Vikings. Yeah,
with AP.
That's that same year. So yeah, it's the Chargers game. Holy cow. Yeah, that's wild. Wild stat. All right, y'all. We've been doing a month-long raffle for a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. We're about to decide who's going to go home with that helmet. There is a laundry list of names there.
Yeah, I'm putting them in right now.
Okay. And I mean it might freeze on you.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll say it took Reed a little while to get it in all honesty. You know what we probably should have done? We probably should have done the helmet and then the duck race. Because it might take you a little. But hopefully we got it good. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm freezing right now. I am freezing right now. Does anybody have any New Year's plans? So my dog, Chuck, his birthday's tomorrow. So my wife and I, we usually typically go out on the 30th, and we celebrate a little bit. We have dinner plans tonight. We're going to go out and grab some drinks. Nothing too crazy. Well, she's going to grab drinks. I will actually have a glass of champagne. That's one thing that we always do. We always cheers our champagne. So go out and have a glass of champagne. Go out and grab a little bit of dinner. Nothing too crazy. Try to be back home by a reasonable time. To the 558 people that are watching here right now, this is the final live show of the year 2025. Wow. It's kind of crazy. The reason why this is a can't-miss show, the Raiders no doubt have a top 2 pick locked in. We talked about head coaching rumors around Brian Flores, around Jesse Minter. Also, I know Robert Saleh is connected. Pete Carroll, very doubtful to return, according to Ian Rapoport. We talked a little bit about Lamar Jackson because the Athletic from Baltimore connected Lamar to the Las Vegas Raiders as being a potential landing spot. I will admit, I think Miami might be a little bit more of a top spot just because of Lamar's past history and where he grew up. But it's going to be a very, very, very exciting 2026. While we wait for this to load, does anybody have any good New Year's resolutions for 2026? My New Year's resolution in 2026 is to try to be a healthier version of myself. A goal that I have is to pass the Raiders YouTube channel. I know we're super far away, but I hope that I reach 1 million subs before the official Raiders YouTube channel does. I hope that can happen. I know Raider Nation is a powerful, powerful nation. And I don't know, man. I think it'd be really cool to be the number one, like literal number one YouTube channel out there for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that's pretty cool. Maloma says, yeah, we're partying right here, and we're going to keep it going. Bayou says, happy birthday again, Chugs.
Thank you.
Chugs' birthday is in September. I just want you all to know that. Mitch, you seem a little down today. No, honestly, I'm not down today. I actually think I've been putting a lot of energy out there. I haven't eaten anything today, which I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass for right now.
Yeah.
So I need something to eat. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm starving.
Mitch is a hungry boy.
I'm very, very hungry.
What's for dinner tonight?
Well, we're going to go to a nice restaurant.
No, like what kind of food? Like, what are you eating?
So actually, I don't know. So what I did is I picked the spot that Alex and I are going to go to for our pregame because she knows I'm not like drinking right now. So I picked the spot. She actually doesn't know where we're going, and I don't know where we're going to end up going for dinner.
All right. If you don't see your name,
it's going to be a surprise.
That means you probably have normal vision.
If you see your name, you're disgusting. Whatever that white bar is, I actually don't know why it's there. I have no idea.
Anytime we get like over 1,000, it just pops up, and we have well over that. So it popped up about 4 minutes ago whenever I was putting in names.
If I had to guess, there's probably 10 to 15,000 of these names on here. So good luck to you. Well, whoever this lands on, you're going home with a signed Maxx Crosby helmet. All I ask is if you win the helmet, please send me a $1 Venmo with your first name, your last name, and your shipping address. That way I can get it out to you. You ready?
Yep.
Y'all ready? Give me some 98s down below. Maybe it'll bring you some good luck. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Isaac Hernandez. Shout out to Isaac. Isaac, I don't know if you're watching right now. If you are watching right now, I can get in contact with Isaac. Isaac's an OG. He watches the show all the time. Very, very happy. Though there was one show Isaac went bananas on. I almost wonder if that was a show like where we did a whole bunch of like all the ticket giveaways. Shout out to Isaac, man. Isaac's a legend. He watches the show all the time, man. Congrats to him. I was going to say Nav's going to be pretty fired up. So is LA Crash Dog. You know, Isaac's done a lot of great things for this country, so I really am happy that he was able to get the win. So I'm going to just write that down here. Isaac, I will get in contact with you if you don't see this. Let me just write it down. All right, I got it documented. Isaac, congratulations to you, man. Not typically, but sometimes like when we do prizes, if you're not here to claim it, you know, like I'll be like, oh, let's do it again. Certain people, though, you know, I can get in contact with them. So hopefully, I think we all know who Isaac Hernandez is here on this channel. So from me, from Jeremy Chugs, the next time you're going to see me live, Indiana, Alabama watch party, going live 30 minutes before kickoff. Everyone have a happy new year. Everyone have a safe new year. And I'll see you guys in 2026.